Live. All right, welcome back to another episode of Otter Players Podcast, episode 54, which is looking like it might be a short one for the first time in our podcast history. But don't quote me on that because you know how that goes every time we say that. But obviously, this week, the major news being Warner Brothers canceling the much anticipated game from Monolith Studios, which was the Wonder Woman epic from everything that we hear. Dragon Age the Veilguard coming to PlayStation Plus in record time. Monster Hunter Wilds setting its own records. And Fable delayed to 2026. But we'll go ahead and jump right into it, get into our intros, and see what everybody else is up to in the chat. Morgan, how are you and what have you been playing?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. Haven't really been playing much this week. I've been super tired from work, and every time I come home, I just fall asleep. But I did get to play a little bit more of Kingdom Come Deliverance for a few hours before the podcast started. Um, Felt good to come back. Felt like I never left. Got right back into the gameplay. I'm kind of focusing on clean up a lot of the side missions before I head on to the next main quest. I'm still on the path to get the plat. We'll see how that goes.
Okay.
If I ever change my mind, but so far, so good. Um, really, no major complaints about Kingdom Come Deliverance. There are some like technical glitches as far as like bugs and things. The kind of things that just happens when you play like one of those big open world games.
Yeah, that makes sense.
NPCs kind of acting wonky sometimes. Quests kind of pausing and not being able to talk to the next person to start a quest. Sometimes like they'll they'll randomly, the NPCs that are supposed to be helping me on a quest or my allies in a quest, uh they all of a sudden just turn to me and just like, I'm an enemy all of a sudden, they start trying to kill me. Like, it's weird. Like, so just some weird technical glitches that happen. But
Those
usually all I
those
have to do is
AI
just kind of
quirks.
yeah. Usually all I have to do is just kind of like restart the game and it's all good. But they did release a patch a few days ago that has helped with some things. So it's good that they're, updating and making sure these kind of things don't happen. Um, but other than that, like as far as like frame rate and fidelity and everything that goes, it's like it's super smooth, super stable. Just the wonkiness of some of like the bugs and stuff, but none of that like hitches my experience. Like I'm not like, oh God, and it's definitely not on the level like I was experiencing with like Cyberpunk, where it was just like crashing every 30 minutes on me. But yeah, overall, this game is like 9.5 out of 10 for me. Can't wait to see how it ends. Uh, but also I can because I don't want it to end necessarily,
Okay.
which is probably why I'm drawing it out, doing a whole bunch of side missions. Even though, like I said, I am going for the plat, so I have to do them anyway.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel like a burden. Like all of the side missions are fun and eventful and add to the story, so it's not like it feels like tedious or drawn out or like, oh God, I wish this was over. Like, no, it's just like every side quest that I've experienced has been fun and fulfilling. So yeah, that's been my focus. Hopefully, as far as the main story goes, I think I'm close to the end of the game as far as like the main campaign goes. But it's just like there's so many side quests. So hopefully I can finish the game and cross my fingers, maybe plat it before next week's podcast. I mean that's saying probably too much. It's probably a little too much hopium, but I'm
Um.
hoping because March is even crazier than February. So,
Yeah,
I need to
we
start
got
wrapping
co-op
things
things
up.
to do.
Yeah. So,
The split
but
fiction
that's
dropping Wednesday, so you know what time it is.
oh shit, it is Wednesday.
It is Wednesday. It is.
Oh
It is coming
fuck.
expeditiously.
Okay, I'm just gonna have to take Wednesday off. Okay. Bet. All
Yep.
right. Well, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, lots of That is probably the bigger news than anything. Is just the onslaught that is
Damn,
March.
I swear it feels like yesterday. Like we
We
just
just saw
saw
the announcement. Yeah,
an announcement of Split Fiction. I swear, like the
yeah.
Game Awards was just the other day.
And now it's
Oh,
here, just that
damn, that's
fast.
crazy. Now this year is going by quick. I don't care what anybody says, man. We're
I
already
mean,
in freaking March. Like this is insane.
we're trying to speed run it at this rate. So, considering how crazy this year has started, but yeah, it seems like a lot of games got evidently got pushed to March. Obviously, that game originally was in March, but it's just like when you look at the list of games
Yeah,
releasing in March, and this is why we tell
Assassin's
people,
Creed.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Now Assassin's Creed got pushed here, which is another day one, especially for
yeah.
us. Uh, you've got the new Atelier game coming out that a lot of people are excited about. Xenoblade Chronicles X, Suikoden 1 and 2, which
Oh yeah.
I can't wait for you to try because that's such a big one. You never got to try it, so we were waiting on the remaster. Like
Hmm.
literally everything is just like piling on in March. Like it's just I don't know what happened. So
Damn. Yeah.
yeah, it's a big
Well,
month. Not a lot of news, but a lot of games.
a lot of games though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Uh, I see our resident weeb has joined us in the chat, bro. How you doing? What you been playing? I know you've been sick. Hopefully feeling better. What's going on?
Yeah, a little better, but yeah, it's still a struggle. Um, yeah, I wish I could say I've made a lot of progress with Pirate Yakuza, but unfortunately, I got a bit distracted
Oh.
this week. Uh, well, it is technically it's the game's fault because when I was playing, it's like I actually want to watch a pirate uh, movie or
This
thing, and I went
dude.
back and I went
This
to back to watch
dude.
Black Sails, and I thought, oh, I remembered how good the show was. I'm gonna keep on watching it.
Yo,
So
it'd
yeah,
be like that.
yeah. Sometimes it be like that.
Yeah, that's hilarious. I love that.
Some like already like watched 3 to 4 seasons, so I'm like, oh yeah, fuck it.
Oh, you got
I really need to.
completely caught up.
Hmm.
Yeah,
It's not. That's all it
yeah.
is. I definitely
Yeah.
get that.
So yeah, so pretty much I'm still not. Yeah, I guess I made some progress. Like I got a ship, and I went to Atlantis. Um, so yeah, I mean, the overall impression so far is still really good. You know, I definitely love the combat still. I like the second play style, which is I noticed it's a bit better with when facing single opponents, like tough opponents,
Mm.
while the other one seems to be more geared towards multiple opponents. So it is a bit faster, more you know, more agile, but does seem to be doing a little less damage. Um, but yeah, overall, it's like like the intro is like amazing. Like they just after you sort of get past prologue and you get your ship, they immediately start singing a shanty. Like it's fucking insane.
Nice.
I got I mean, this is sort of what you're gonna get if you play a Majima game. It's gonna be batshit crazy, and I love it. And you know the ship combat, as little of as I played of it, is anything you really want Ubisoft to do with it, like, and they just doing it, and they're just going all the way crazy. Like I barely touched the surface because I know from the demo you have like these crazy
Hmm.
weapons you can get. But yeah, it's just so much fun. You know, it simple, but you just you have to break down your enemy ships until you can board them. Um, but yeah, there's still so much nuance involved, and it seems initially daunting because there's so much you can do. Like you can also just stop midway and just go back to your ship and you basically walk around your ship, and then you can revive crew members so that they
Oh,
can man the
cool.
cannons again. You can even use your RPG to just get in a few hits on the enemy ship. Um, yeah, there's so much options you have to, and it all is pretty seamless. Like they thought about it because you can throw a smoke screen so your enemy ship can see you, and there's less damage you take because you're basically a sitting duck at that moment. And and it just all works, and you can instantly switch back to the top, sort of the back behind the ship view, so you can control the ship again. Um, and yeah, I mean it's just so much fun. Like this is sort of like the biggest, ironically, that any Yakuza world has felt, because you have like this massive ocean, and you can just sail where you
Mm-hmm.
want, and you encounter enemy ships, and it's just fun to trash them, and then go on to your next objective, or just wander around and go to an island, and then just for a quest for booty, of course. Um, so yeah, I mean, I definitely want to keep on playing it, and I don't think anything. Even though I know there's a lot of games coming this month as well, and you just
Mm-hmm.
mentioned that, and I know next month and May is packed as well. But yeah, I'm gonna keep on playing this until I'm finished. And aside from that, the only thing I played briefly was the new Astrobot level. Um,
Oh.
yeah. I know. Like I really, I really wonder indeed if we're actually going to get a Final Fantasy character eventually. It seems like they're really like going out of the way. Yeah, no,
Nah.
we're gonna, we're gonna put
They
anybody in
got
there.
Jade. They got
Yeah,
Jade
yeah,
We
from
got a freaking
Beyond Good and
Jade
Evil
bot
2.
before we got Beyond Good Evil
yep,
2.
Yeah,
yep.
like
It's
Yeah,
crazy.
but yeah, but again, shout out to Sobi for just keeping on supporting this game.
Oh yeah.
Like all these free updates, and it's just fun. Like yeah, these levels are supposed to be the more challenging ones, but yeah, I mean they're all very doable. It's just y- figure out what's the best course to take, and you're golden. And unfortunately, that you don't have to do a speed run to get like a second robot. It's just one robot, and just make it
Nice.
to the end, and you're done. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I've been playing.
All right, cool. That's what's up. You said you still got in a decent amount, uh, despite the wet, feeling under the weather. So, yeah, I got to get back to Astrobot myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on the last area, so I need to go ahead and finish that up. Add that platinum to the ranks. I'm sure that
Yes, you should. Yes,
yeah,
you should.
being out of practice, having to do that very last ridiculous
yeah,
level is
that
gonna be
final
fun.
butt is gonna take you
Oh
a
shit,
while.
yeah, I forgot about
Yeah,
that.
Yeah, the super long, no breaks, no quit, freaking end level. So
it's
that
not that long.
I don't know. Bro. I mean, in comparison to everything else, it's pretty long. But yeah, we'll see how that goes when I get back into it. But yeah, Karaba, what have you been playing this week, sir?
Up, yeah, I'm still recovering, but luckily I'm home recovering, so I played a few games. First off, I finished Yakuza 4.
Nice.
It,
Finally getting
it
through it. I'm proud.
it's fun. Like it, as always, Yakuza they find a way to create some of the best written characters and villains, and somehow find a way to fuck it up with the boss fight. Sadly, this might be one of the worst Yakuza when it comes to bosses. When it comes to not difficulty, it's how unfair it is. Basically, they time lock you into oblivion. I'm gonna leave it at that. I thought I was the only one, but
Let me guess, you looked it up and saw a bunch of other people complaining.
I looked up. Yeah, I'm always curious what other people think of boss fights, and yeah, a lot of people have the same issue with me when it comes to that stability.
You're all a bunch of pansies. Like the fact that you
Dude,
can't figure
you
this out.
are literally a yakuza lover. Like, yeah, there is no
Yeah,
question
but,
about
but
it
but
with you.
I never at a single moment when I play like a hell like, oh,
You
this is
tell
so
okay, hold
unfair.
up. So you telling me Saito in Yakuza 4 is not an issue? Or the
There,
final, literally the very
no,
final boss
no,
in Yakuza 4 is not an issue?
no. There's not a
Yeah,
single boss in any Yakuza game that's an issue.
okay.
The only bosses that can be a challenge is Amon, but they're supposed to be because that's a secret boss that you don't have to beat, but can because he's your ultimate nemesis.
Yeah, no, this one is literally atrocious. But for the terrible boss fight, it makes up with it with amazing storytelling. Like, and I started Yakuza 5, and you can already feel the improvement. And I love that how Yakuza 5 now is a new city, or rather a new area. But then I started watching anime, and I caught up
Oh,
on close all to the anime that released this season that I would enjoy.
It's a lot of anime.
And some isekai, most of them are isekai. That
of course they are.
animator one, which is amazing. I love that animator one.
Oh, Zenshu.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, it's about
Uh,
the one
uh,
where she's a manga artist.
yeah,
Yeah.
precisely. Yeah, like that one hit home. I truly enjoyed it. Other than that, I started Blue Exorcist. I finished season one long time ago, but not knowing what it's all about, I went back and watched it. And who would have known I would go from season one all the way to season four now? That
I did.
shit is addictive
So
as
wait,
Wait,
fuck.
you
what
watched
you
you watched 3 seasons?
yeah. I was gonna say,
Yeah,
so
you
what you
watched three
saying
seasons?
is
Damn.
so what you saying
This
is you can
shows
actually watch
Oh,
literally shows like
so you can binge 3 seasons in a week, but when we ask you to watch one season of Cowboy Bebop, that took you 3 motherfucking weeks.
again, there's a difference between
No,
what
that
you
there's
call
no
it,
difference.
stand alone and story with
What does that have to do with
continuation.
your ability to watch?
When your story is that amazing and you want to just keep
Okay, so like
watching.
I said, like when you were making excuses saying you didn't have the time, it's like I said, you do have the
No,
time
I
because you
literally did.
you
No, I
listen,
literally no, I
no.
literally put
You
down
make
gaming.
the time.
I
Exactly.
put
That's my point. That's my point. My point, Omar, was that you can make the time. You just didn't want to. That's what I was saying. You didn't want. That's why I was like every week. I was like, why come you haven't
no,
finished
I
it?
was busy
Well,
gaming
well. Then stop gaming. You stopped gaming for anime this week. So what was the big deal?
because I literally beat Yakuza 4. Then
Oh
I
my
stopped.
god,
he's like
But
Omar,
yeah, no.
Omar,
he's like there was a
Omar, you
break
making
somewhere in
excuses.
there.
You making excuses, Omar. Omar just
Okay,
proved that he can binge 3 seasons in a damn week, but it takes him three weeks to binge one when it was Cowboy Bebop. See, this is the shit I be talking about with Omar, man. It doesn't make sense.
hey,
Get him.
at the
Get
end,
him.
they redeemed themselves with the last few episodes, and
Redeemed itself, sir. A lot of these
yeah, because
animes wouldn't even exist without Cowboy Bebop. So you need to chill out with the redeeming.
I literally explained to you why. I need motivation, and I
Yes,
got it
yes,
with
yes.
that
You know
ending.
why? Because you have ADHD, and if a anime isn't causing constant transitions and fast killing and all the colors flashing on the screen at a given time, you can't
Absolutely.
concentrate.
Literally, if that's the case, I would have dropped Blue Exorcist in season 2. Season 2 have close to no fighting, only
Hmm.
storytelling.
Omar, don't hit me with
Yeah.
that, bruh.
Go look it
She
up
still
if
she
you
still
don't believe
she still
me.
got your ass though. But what else?
But yeah, so my next anime, I might look up Bunderdog, I think. That's another anime that I was at season 2 and then I dropped, so I need to watch all over
This
again.
this man watched 3 different animes. I'm
But
dead.
I need, yeah, I have been on an anime hype up until
Oh, okay.
next week
Oh, it's good to know.
when uh, what you call it, Split Fiction comes out. Then you're not gonna see me touch a single anime.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, the race is on. But yeah. As for myself, uh, obviously the big thing that came out this week that I picked up was Monster Hunter Wilds. Um, that's been like one of the main focuses. Which was I haven't been able to get into it too much yet. We did finally manage to figure out the co-op system when you're playing the story. Um, so you can party initially, but you don't go through the story portions itself together. So that was kind of confusing. So we spent like an hour trying to figure out how to play co-op properly the other night. But apparently once the actual boss hunting or monster hunting starts, then it pushes out like a beacon to your party members to join you, and then you guys can hunt the monster together. Obviously, you can still launch, um, actual monster hunting where you're doing purely monster hunting and there's no extra story aspects to it. You can launch those together and jump right into them. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. Playing it on PC. I've heard some negative stuff about PC. Anyone who's seen it has seen some of the reviews. The user reviews specifically on Steam, I think were like mostly negative or something like that. Despite the game, you know, having over 1 million concurrent users on launch day, which is insane. It passed like a ton of games for that record. So congrats to Capcom on a well launched game. Personally, I haven't had any issues with it performance wise. Playing it on PC, the day one patch from, or the well, not a day one patch, but the day one drivers rather from Nvidia did a great job. I was having some stutter issues. Anyone who plays on PC knows what micro stutter is. But yeah, once I added those new drivers, I was sitting beautifully at 140 plus FPS.
Okay, Mr. 490.
I'm just, I look.
I don't know anything about those PC issues. Oh man, I'm not experiencing anything.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, I get it. People out here still on the 3060 and stuff. I get it.
Okay.
So why would you run Monster Hunter if you're on 3060? Like,
I mean,
damn, people with other graphics cards can't play. Damn, Omar. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, some people
he said classism. Oh man.
Well, no, but some people definitely need to check the recommended specs. Like the recommended specs are not a suggestion. Like that's what you need to in order to play the game.
I run minimum specs all day.
Yeah, like
bare minimum.
I heard somebody was upset because like the game wouldn't work for them and kept crashing, but like the same person had also said like their PC build in total was $750. So I was like, well,
you're expecting too much then, eh?
Yeah, like
this man done got him a little PC. Now he talking different. I was like, oh man, I don't know what those guys are on. Shut up, Omar.
Be fair, I didn't let him be one of those people. So
it's too late. He's already one of those people.
Well, no, I mean one of those $750 PC people, the people, building like the bare minimum, and then being like, why doesn't this run? Like, and it's like,
Omar, even though you have a PC, you're still a console peasant.
Yeah, I mean,
he's
still a pony.
Yeah, he want to fit in. He still want to fit in with the consequences. Like, yeah, guys, I'm still one of you.
I never this is why I never got a PC for the whole frame rate. I only got a PC so I'm able to be running a podcast and playing some games on it. But I got luck. I logged in and we found me an amazing build.
Yeah, you definitely got lucky.
Shut weed.
Yep. But
I'm still regretting it.
I'm regretting it.
I'm regretting this decision.
For it, because it's literally you that did it.
Yeah, because his last PC was about to explode, so That laptop was on its last leg, and we had to get him.
That's literally all tech owned by Omar.
No,
Man, he
Yep,
runs that
yep.
crap to the ground.
that laptop was for my brother. First off, second off, it
Mhm.
literally committed seppuku.
Yeah.
That's how
You
it
know
went.
why? Because that's the only way that you'll get rid of things. They like your technology has to kill itself for you to finally be like, you know what, guys, I need something new. That's the only way you can get rest. Just I gotta jump off the bed before Omar comes back.
Omar had that thing like, oh my god,
Yo,
like
it got that shit held together with duct tape and prayers. Like, oh man, it's gonna turn on today, I think.
We really thought that thing was going to explode at one point. It was that dangerous. So yeah,
My phone, eh? Yeah, the battery
Yeah,
was
his freaking phone,
sticking out.
his
Yeah.
phone, his phone's
controller,
battery
like
was blown up. It was a mess.
Omar.
But
Hey,
yeah,
that's how it is when you don't have a job. When you can't work, basically.
hey, but we got it done. We got it done.
Yeah, we got it done.
Yeah, your phone's no longer exploding. Your laptop no longer sounds like a ticking time
Now,
bomb.
my next thing is buying a fucking SSD. Can't wait.
Absolutely, got to get the space now. Um, but yeah, like I said, Monster Hunter's been really great for me. Like Logic said in the chat, he was running it on a 3080 Ti, and he's been having a good time with it as well. But yeah, like I said, just in general, Monster Hunter fight's been good. Honestly, the game just feels really good. That's the biggest thing I could say about it, because Monster Hunter's like toughest gap is definitely like getting the move sets in correctly to make sure that you're not getting just smacked around by the monster, because it will cart you immediately, which is when you die, you get carried off on a cart, and the monster will just go about his merry way.
Oh man, R.I.P.
Yeah.
Does it gain its health?
So he'll rest, and sometimes he'll like recover some. So you definitely don't want to be carted off if you can help it. But that's a big reason you want to play multiplayer, because as long as your other people are still there and they're still hunting it, you can jump back into the fight.
Oh, they can end you. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, you can get back. You gotta run back out from base. But with the little animals and stuff that you ride in the game, you're a lot faster now and everything. So when we did it the other day, it was pretty funny, because when I finally got Priscilla to join on the monster hunt, you can see them like coming from like far away, and her little Palico got there first. Palicos are hilariously fast in that game. But yeah, like I said, this is a good time. The game is super smooth on both systems that we were playing it on. Like I said, it's just a really good time. I think it is one of the more forgiving ones to get into for people. I know some people say that about some games. Monster Hunter is notoriously tough to get into.
Yeah, I was about to say I had to disagree with that. But okay.
People seem to love it. It's over there breaking Steam records and shit. So
No, I'm not discrediting it. It's just it never.
I'm not saying you're discrediting it. I'm just that was just me shouting out that it broke Steam records. It's like, so shout out to Monster Hunter for that.
Yeah.
It to me it feels like from the demos that I played, it's not new friendly. Sadly.
I mean, it depends, right? Yeah, like you got the problem is like anything else, right? It's got its subsystems where you can get real technical, but you don't have to, right? Like I went in and I was showing Priscilla each thing. Like the problem is you have to slow down in between monster hunts, right? You can't just you don't want to just run and jump out, and just keep going and keep going and keep going, because you got to sit down, understand how upgrading your gear. Like Priscilla was like repeatedly buying like the starter sword or something, and she didn't understand why. She was like, well, she keeps charging me, and I was like, no, that's because you're clicking on the wrong thing. But it makes sense to me because I've played Monster Hunter since PSP, but I get how it seems weird. But now that I explained it to her, now she gets it. And then of course the next step is understanding like traps and stuff. If you want to get a little more technical, understanding what types of things will hurt them.
Your weapon, understanding your weapon, because you need to go to the lab to get good with this game.
Yeah, I mean they provide ample training places. I mean, there's an immediate training place inside of the camp for you to train if you want to try different weapons, stuff like that. So I mean, it definitely gives you ample opportunity to get better, right? like you said, understanding what you're doing. Like I changed my secondary weapon to the lance and shield, because I did kind of get knocked around a little bit on the last boss we fought. Um, and Priscilla is playing dual swords, so she's like really fast. So if I can just maintain the aggro, and she could just literally go crazy on the boss, like it would make a big difference. Um, so that's something that we were, working on, that I was changing my dynamic for. This is all about understanding working with your team and what you're hunting. Like the thing that we hunted the other day, it has like a tail whip move where it would set the ground on fire. But if you go near the water, it'll get scared and doesn't want to come near. So you can use again, you got to use the terrain to your advantage, stuff like that. We had a couple times. One time it ran away from us and got away for a bit while we were recovering. It was asleep. So I should have recorded this part. It was pretty funny. But while it was asleep, we ran up on it, and you can jump off of the creatures that you ride and just go straight into them. And I just jumped off of it and yelled, "Surprise, motherfucker!" So that shit was a lot of fun. Um, but yeah, like I said, no issues on our end. The game is, like I said, a lot of fun. We're getting into some of the other things. I've only just now gotten into the crafting, and upgrading your weapon and stuff like that. But I mean, it's pure Monster Hunter, right? We rescued the little cats that make the food for you, where you level up and things like that, and get more powerful before you head out by the certain types of foods you eat. So it gets more intricate. What I did hear, I guess, about some of the reviews and stuff, some people were just saying it wasn't super hard. They felt like they didn't really need to upgrade if they didn't want to. That's again not a problem for me, because like games being difficult does not impress me. Monster Hunter is plenty difficult. Um, I know somebody else who thought it would be an issue, and they said they got carded a couple times already. So yeah, difficulty is clearly not an issue for everybody. You got the standard tryhards who are like, man, if I don't get two shot, the game's not hard enough. So yeah, you don't gotta listen to people on
Omar ass.
that.
Oh
Right?
man,
Omar, too easy, bro. It's too easy.
I had to.
not
It was a fun
playing.
though.
I'm literally
Easy game.
typing.
No, what are you talking
No.
about?
See, he not even paying attention.
Yeah, he's not paying
Anyway.
attention. But yeah, but like I said, that one's really good. I did also play the Crew Motorfest randomly. Uh, it was on sale. It is on sale till like March 13th. So I played that with my brother and one of his friends, and then Priscilla was kind of interested in that because she likes Need for Speed, and it was kind of giving her that vibe. So we were running around, driving a bunch of cars, having a lot of fun in that game. They make it so you can do a lot of co-op activity, cross-platform, and all that stuff. So that was a lot of fun. I think, and then obviously I'm finishing up Avowed. I'm literally on like the last final push for Avowed, so it's like, you know, I'm right outside of that point of no return, where they're like, hey, you want to do this, you want to do that, get it done before you go. So yeah, I'm about to end that. Again, I guess final thoughts before I push to the end. The game is good. I'm having a good time with it. I had a lot of fun with it. Um, like I said, I think the aggregate score is about right. I felt like it's pretty much a solid 8 for me, which is, like I said, nothing wrong with that. Priscilla said for her is like a 70. She said a 77. She said it didn't quite hit the 8, but she said 77 is where she felt it was appropriate. Um, there were some things missing, and I know one thing a lot of people mentioned, they wish they had added factions and a couple other things. But like I said, the moment to moment dialogue was really well written. The characters were really well written, especially Kai, um, which I mentioned before, being the voice actor for Garrus from Mass Effect, which definitely makes me biased. But again, his character is really good in general. They did kind of give him the same vibe as Garrus. He's kind of just like this hardened warrior who's been through a lot, and he's got his own burdens and stuff like that. But you kind of feel that from each character. They each got their own individual things and struggles and things that they went through before while they're also joining you on your journey and the things that you're dealing with currently, with the Dream Scourge and the overarching story. That being the weakest point, the overarching story, it is super predictable. Um, I know Slow Mo had said this at one point, but on another show. But basically, about 3 or 4 hours in, you know who the main bad guy is. You know who you're gonna be smacking up in the end, and it's very obvious. You know, like who or like what is causing the dream scourge, and you know what you're kind of gonna have to do in the end. But yeah, overall, like I said, I'm still enjoying it. Really at this point, I'm just trying to finish up some of this stuff so I can get ready for uh, finish up Avowed, play some more Monster Hunter, and get ready for Split Fiction, which is coming up very rapidly here. That's the big excitement coming up this Wednesday. So I'm ready to jump into that and get it going. But yeah, that's what we've been playing this week. We'll then jump into our first topic, which was the main thing, the big thing. Uh, Warner Brothers canceled the highly anticipated Wonder Woman game from Monolith Studios. They had to make that sad announcement. Um, obviously, the game was going to feature the Nemesis system, which a ton of us are really big fans of here. If anybody has played the prior games that they made dealing with the Lord of the Rings series, you're familiar um, with that system and how creative it can get. I've definitely had a grunt or two stab me in the back and get up to captain status and talk the most smack. I was like, I really love that system. So it sucks to kind of see that system be stuck in limbo, still owned by Warner Brothers after cutting this team. Hopefully, they are able to get picked up. These guys are obviously extremely talented. Warner Brothers is just kind of on a tear right now. It seems like they're pulling back in a lot of different areas. Jason Schreier did also report that prior to Wonder Woman, they were apparently working on a secret game that never kind of hit the light of day, and that kind of knocked the wind out of the team and just kind of caused turmoil from there, which is why you see so many issues and so much going on with Wonder Woman, which is definitely understandable. Something we've talked about before. You take a team off of a passion project or something they're already working on, and then saying, all right, we're going to cancel that, and you're going to do this. Not that they obviously didn't seem passionate about working on Wonder Woman, but it seems like whatever that prior project was, they really wanted to do, and after that was canceled forcibly, just kind of knocked everything out of whack, and the team could never really get their feet quite under them again, which is why we never saw Wonder Woman. But yeah, Morgan, I know you were really looking forward to this, and we talked about it pretty extensively. And then, like I said, hearing about the new issues that went on prior to Wonder Woman. How are you feeling about this one?
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly sad, the whole situation. I mean, Monolith Studio, they've been around since forever making games. It's like the '90s, like back with like Fear and stuff like that. And then of course Shadow of Mordor and all those kind of games. And it's just kind of sad that a studio that has made such acclaimed games and beloved games is just WB is just like we're just gonna cut our losses and just not just cancel a game, but entirely shut down a studio, which is insane to me. With everything going on with WB, with failed Suicide Squad, that was one of the biggest failures for them. And then the Quidditch game not doing hot, and among other decisions that they've made, and their thoughts of, even though our live service game failed, we should continue to double down on live service. Those type of stupid decisions, right? It has led them to this point. Now, before they shut it down, they announced it. It's not like Wonder Woman's development was going smooth, right? We already know that. I think it was last year. It got like essentially rebooted back in 2024. They essentially had to start over, and that's never a good sign, especially when it's like a big like that was announced. I think it initially got announced in 2021, so they were 3 years deep, and then it gets rebooted that's usually a sign of the end, you know.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
And apparently it had already cost them like $100 million according to like Warner Brothers for this game. So it's like they're already in hella deep with this game, and I'm sure it was probably going to be another 100 mil to get it finished since they rebooted it back last year. So there was a lot of turmoil going on, in development, according to like the people who left and the developers that were on the team and everything like that. Um, and the sad thing, and maybe not so sad thing, is that when Wonder Woman was initially pitched, apparently a lot of the people in the studio they wanted to make more Lord of the Rings, and I think WB kind of was just like, no, let's make a DC property, let's make Wonder Woman or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently that news did not mesh well with a lot of the people at Monolith Studio. So a lot of the people that we know from like Shadow of Mordor and all that kind of thing, like they left and made their own studio.
Yeah, that's definitely a blow.
Yeah. They left before the game even started like major development, and their team is working on a Black Panther game. Not the Black Panther game that we saw with Captain America, the 1940 one. They're actually making like a solo third person action adventure Black Panther game. So there's that. So I was like, there's some saving grace that the people that that are known and make the games that we like from this studio have already left before this closing, and they're already making their own games. So there's a silver lining to that. So but yeah, so it's like the skeleton crew. And I think that's why that Wonder Woman was in such turmoil during development, is because like it was essentially the key people kind of left, and it was just like the skeleton crew. And then they were doing a lot of restructuring and hiring as they were developing the game. And as we know, like obviously when a game is being developed, studios hire developers, right? They get other people on, or they expand their studio. That's not uncommon, but they were like literally building from the ground up the studio as they were building the game, and you can't do that at the same time. That's just not how it works.
That's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, and it was that. I think that was one of the main issues with Wonder Woman's development. It's just too much chaos. You're trying to, get your studio together at the same time building this massive AAA game, right? And it's just did not go well. And that's why after 3 years, they ended up having to reboot it, probably because once they got the key people in positions, they probably had like different ideas of where they wanted the game to go. Now that they have people, in the positions that they need to be, and, they were like, all right, this game that we were putting together while we were building the studio is not what we have for the vision of this game. So let's start over. And I'm sure WB was just so elated to hear that news about, being 100 million deep in the pocket, and then your managers come to you and was like, yeah, so we kind of want to start over.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that was the beginning. WB, the head honchos probably wrote that down. I was like, okay, yeah, sure, yeah, go right ahead, start that over. They put them on the short list of if we have to make cuts, they're gonna be the first ones to go. Like,
real quick.
Yeah. So it's so sad because, like I said, I've been looking forward to the game, and it's one of those games like many in this generation that got announced way too early. And so, it's years down the line and we still haven't heard anything else from the game.
Yeah, we didn't even get to see the game, which was crazy.
We just saw a little, CGI snippet of her, Wonder Woman, in her little lasso, and then the title screen. I'm like, okay, cool. Like a Wonder Woman video game would be badass. The lasso of truth, doing its thing, all of that. It sounded great, right? And one of the biggest things that I think, especially myself, right, was wondering was like, so what exactly is this going to do for the Nemesis system? Like that's the thing.
Questions.
Yeah, that is the thing that Monolith Studios is really known for, right? The Nemesis system. And if people in the chat who don't know what the Nemesis system is, it's basically like enemy AI learns from the way you fight. So if they kill you, right? If you're going up against an enemy, they kill you, they can rise, they'll rise in the ranks of whatever they are. So they started off as a grunt, and they kill you, they make them work up to captain, and the next time you see them, they'll know it was you. Like, oh yeah, I remember, I got your ass last time, and I remember the way you fought, and I will, use that against you again. And it's just
Yeah, they get
basically
stronger. As
yeah,
well
enemies
with
getting
your.
stronger and learning how you fight.
Yeah, it was an impressive system.
It's amazing. Like I wasn't the biggest fan of Shadow, but I did really enjoy that aspect of the game. I thought that was a really unique thing. And of course, WB did WB things by patenting it and making sure nobody else could use it. Like, oh, we got something amazing that could
To
revolutionize gaming.
to be fair, it was great except for sticking the landing, because in the end, your ultimate nemesis turns out to be some random guy. Like, who?
That is true. That is true. That is true. But it's just like it like I feel like if it hadn't been patented, other developers could have made it into something great. Like you can imagine what Insomniac or maybe Ubisoft or like in any of these developers out here could do with that system and tweak it and
Ghost
make
of
it into
Tsushima
something great. Yeah,
would have been
exactly.
amazing with it.
Like, and I'm just like, man, that's just some amazing tech. And WB, like I said, doing WB things and being like, oh, we got something cool, let's lock it up and make sure nobody else can use it. And come to find out, after the closing of the studio, people found out that they have the patent until 2036. I'm just like, fuck. Of course they do. Hopefully they'll, since they're in a bind right now, especially monetary wise, maybe they'll wise up and they'll open it up to maybe being sold or license it out to people. I don't know, something productive instead of just keeping it away locked up on a shelf somewhere.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, this whole thing is just sad. Like, again, because every time we heard news about the Wonder Woman game, it was never anything good, right? It was like, oh, the budget's getting out of control. Oh, the devs don't really know the direction. Oh, they had to reboot it. Like, even though I'm sad that this game is canceled, it's not even surprising, just because, like I said, everything that like Jason Schreier or other like leakers ever said about the game to this point was never good. So I kind of just figured, like, yeah, it seems like it was going to be on the chopping block to be the next game to get canceled. But I was surprised about the actual studio closing down. Like, that was the one that really was just like, wow. And you know how WB was. They tried to word it like, well, it's not that the studios did anything wrong. It's not that this isn't a sign of their incompetence or that they have an inability to make a game. It's just budget cuts. Just like, but there's so many other studios and other subsidiaries that they own that they probably could have cut that didn't need to be Monolith. But it's just, I guess, when you're 100 million deep in a hole, they just saw that as a big deficit that needed to go away, essentially. Hopefully those developers find other jobs. Hopefully Sony's putting up some uh ads out here for like like, hey, guys, if you want to work. Are you talking to me?
No.
Oh, he must. Oh, okay. Okay. But yeah, it's this man made me lose my train of thought. Yeah, but I'm sad that the studio is closed. That was a big shocker, and it was like, I think it was 3 total studios. I can't remember the like, that's so bad. I can't remember the other ones. I definitely remember Monolith. I think there was like 2 other ones. I think they're kind of smaller studios that got closed down. But yeah, I just hope and it's weird because their statement was just like, well, we just want to focus on Harry Potter, Mortal Kombat, like Game of Thrones and DC. And I'm like, but y'all saying Wonder Woman isn't DC? Like, I was like,
Yeah,
they
focusing on
said
Yeah.
that
DC
like,
products was such a weird way to word
I
that.
was like, but Wonder Woman is DC though. Like, what? Like, Like
Well,
she's like,
it's the same guys who said after Suicide Squad failed, like, yeah, you know what
Yep,
we need to do? We need to make more service games.
yeah, guys, it
yep.
failed. Let's make another one. Like it's just I don't understand WB's train of thought when it comes to the decisions they make. Like, but again, that just kind of shows you that a lot of these suits they're more about number crunchers. They're not really looking at anything but the numbers. They don't understand like the gaming environment and then what gamers are looking for and what we actually want. They just see, oh, live service is trending and it's okay. You know, we had a huge failure of a game being Suicide Squad, but look at all these other live service games that are making bank. Okay, if we just continue to try, we can get to that point. You know, we can make our own kind of Fortnite and we'll be okay. We'll make up for all of the money we lose. And that's like a lot of their thinking. They're just not they're not looking at the fact that they made the number one best-selling game that sold more than freaking Call of Duty in 2023 being Hogwarts Legacy, a single player game. It beat Call of Duty. Like that's like
And it still
unheard
wasn't
of.
enough.
And they were just like, nah, it's fine. Cool, that's fine. Single player
Mind
game.
you,
It
mind
did
you,
better than anything
that
else.
it was in fucking boycott as well, and it still did that well.
It's just like they were just like, that's fine. Single player game did better than any other game that year. Great. Fuck that. Live service games. Like I'm just like,
Yeah.
I don't get their mindset, but they want that infinite money glitch that live service games offer. You
Yep.
know, you have to put. Not saying that Fortnite, you know, and Epic don't put a lot in their game. I mean that's why they get so much out of it because they're always updating Fortnite. They're always adding seasons, adding characters. Like every month you see a different character drop, right? Random. You'll be playing Darth Vader versus and they just put Cowboy Bebop in there, and then you'll be you'll be playing against anime and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles
Oh,
versus Peter Griffin.
hush, hush. Don't mention Kyle Biba when Omar's here.
Oh yeah, you're
We'll
right.
ban
I
know.
literally just thought that was okay.
But and that's the thing. It's like they're always adding updates and always adding new seasons for the game and adding new events and new types of things. So it's not like live services and but I think a lot of these publishers ignore the fact that or they don't pay attention to the fact that Fortnite does so much and Epic does so much to update Fortnite, and they only focus on just getting the bare minimum out. Like, okay, as we just get the game out, we don't need to have an update. We don't need to have a map or a forethought of what the season should be or what we should update or what's going to be the next drop. Like, no, just get the game out. That's all they care about. And that's why a lot of these live services crash and burn because they only focus on just releasing the game and there's no kind of map and no kind of calendar or anything for gamers to look forward to new updates for the game. Like they never plan for the future. They only plan for just get the game out and then we'll worry about it when we get to that point. And I think that's why a lot of live service games crash and burn, and because they're only looking to do the bare minimum, and they think that gamers are stupid, and they'll just flock to it and play it because you did the bare minimum and you made them a live service game,
True.
and that's not how it works. And it's like Epic puts a lot of money into Fortnite. Like, you think these celebrity collabs and all these cameos and licenses that they got in this game are cheap? Like, no. Like it cost them a lot of money to get this game off the ground, but they get a lot in return because they put a lot of quality into the game that they're releasing. Like I don't care about Fortnite, but I'm not gonna sit here and be like, I don't see the amount of work Epic puts into this game,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like publishers want what Fortnite has, but they don't actually want to put in the work that Fortnite does, and I think that's why, like I said, that's why a lot of them fail. Like Suicide Squad, they didn't have no plan for that. They were just like,
Well,
I don't even think
they were trying to live off the name.
yeah,
Like,
they
that
were
was part
trying
of
to
the
live
problem.
off of the properties, the intellectual properties of DC, the Suicide Squad, and you thought, oh, because it's kind of popular right now, they just had like 2 different movies and TV spinoffs and everything like that. So it's kind of popular right now. So we just gotta just put a little Suicide Squad out there, And gamers will flock to it, right? Because they love Harley Quinn, they love Superman, they love Batman. We just got to put those characters in there, and it'll be fantastic. It's like, yeah, don't who cares about the fact that you kind of spit on Kevin's legacy or anything like that? Like that's fine. Like just fucked him over, as his like last performance. Oh yeah, it's fine. Like it's just I kind of hope that rumor of PlayStation getting their own like exclusive is kind of true. I hope, honestly, I hope it's not developed by anybody from WB. Like I hope they just just license out Batman over to PlayStation and let one of the PlayStation studios do it. And just, cause I don't know, I just feel like the people that made those great Arkham series games are just, I don't feel like they're really in Rocksteady like that anymore. I feel like they just kind of moved on, and I don't know if they'll be able to capture what made the Arkham series so great again. I just think a lot of what we loved as gamers from that game, that kind of dedication and love that they showed to Batman, I just feel like those people aren't really there anymore. And that's not to say like new developers can't capture it. I don't know. I just don't think the WB that exists now, I don't think they care about delivering a quality Batman anymore. you know?
Yeah, it's all about the money at the end of the day.
It's all about the money.
With the rumor that they're working on Batman Behind, I think Batman
Beyond.
Beyond, thank you. Beyond. Hey, who knows?
I don't know.
But like you were saying, if a lot of that team left, like, I mean,
Omar, do you even know what Batman Beyond is?
Yes, I do. I watched some of the
cartoons. Okay.
Right.
Okay, I'm proud of you. Okay. Look at you watching something other than anime.
Just checking.
Yeah, what's up, Weeb?
Just to set the record straight. The other studios closed were Player First Games, which made Multiverses, and Warner Brothers Games San Diego, which I can't really find whatever they did. So maybe somebody in the chat knows what they made, but yeah, that's the whole lineup.
Multiverse is literally cost them 100 mil, eh?
Yeah, that's apparently also contributing to the cancellation. That
I was gonna mention that.
Yeah.
That and Suicide Squad costing them literally 200 mil.
Just losing money.
Yeah, and that Kidditch game failed. So so they're
Because they put that on PS Plus. They put that on PS Plus day one. That launched on PS Plus, the Quidditch game. And I downloaded it because I was like, okay, cool. But I would have rather had that in Hogwarts Legacy. That's what everybody wanted. I don't know why they just didn't like release it later as like a DLC for Hogwarts, because it would have taken off. Then you could have just sold it at a like $20-30 DLC for Hogwarts Legacy, and it probably would have done better, because everybody was just like, damn, I want to play Quidditch in this game. But they were like, no, we're gonna sell it to you in a different game. Here's play it there.
Did you play the game?
I didn't. I downloaded, like I put it in my library, and I was like, no, I don't feel like playing this.
I downloaded, and no, that's a no-go for me.
Yeah, I was just like, I was like, cool, launching day one, that's cool, but I'm still not really interested. I wanted it in Hogwarts, and if you're not gonna do it there, I don't really care. I'm hoping that these cuts that they're making, I mean, maybe this is me, this is that hopium, that we love to talk about, that these unfortunate cuts they made help them focus on the properties that are good, and like the DC properties of Batman and Superman and things like that, and Mortal Kombat and Game of Thrones, and Harry Potter, stuff like that. Just key focus on those. Stop with the I don't know if they're going to continue down the live service thing. I know that was a thing they said like last year, that they wanted to double down on live service after the failure of Suicide Squad. I don't know if they're reevaluating that after having to close all these studios, but I would hope that they see that the successes that they've had have come from single player games. And the failures that they've had have mostly come from like their live service, like Suicide Squad and Multiverse. And Quidditch, live service games. Those are all failed. But your single player game hit it out the park. It didn't just do good, it did fan-fucking-tastic. So focus on those strengths and let's look away from live service. I might be a hater because I know a lot of people love live service games, but I'm hoping that we eventually come to like an end of this publisher wars when it comes to their search for the best live service game. Like they're all trying to, crack the code and make this once in a lifetime live service game. Like I just kind of hope the trend dies down. They're just like, you know what? We're gonna leave that to the experts and we're gonna focus on what we're good at. But again, that might be hopium.
Yeah, no, a lot of them, like you said, they're just, and most of them don't even really want something like Fortnite because that's so robust and takes so many people to support.
Yeah,
now they're essentially
that's I guess that whole studio.
Yeah, they're essentially chasing that Marvel Rivals hit now because Marvel Rivals is very finite, right? It's this one, it's these few game modes, these couple characters, and then you sell
and
skins.
I know WB's probably looking at Marvel Rivals and they're looking at what was their game that you just said, Weeb? Oh my god, Multiverse, and they're just like, so they can put their properties in a live service game. People just love it, and we do it, and y'all just don't play. Oh, okay. I know they're looking at Marvel Rivals like, dude, what if we had a Marvel, but it was like a DC Rivals? It was just it was Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman, and all of our characters, but obviously DC. I know they're like over there smacking themselves in the head, like, why the fuck didn't we do that? Like, because Marvel Rivals is killing it. But like I said, Marvel Rivals, one of the reasons it's successful is because they're continuously adding characters, right? Like people were like, yo, this is how you do character drops. Like every other month, they were getting like 3, 4, 5 new characters. Like, oh man, we're getting Fantastic Four. We're getting this. We're getting that. Like, I'm just like, that's how you continue to, thrive in a successful live service environment. You have to continuously feed the beast, right? Because gamers get bored very quickly, right?
Absolutely.
It's they get that thrill, like, oh man, it's something new, it's something different. Okay, here's a different game. It's Marvel. We're playing an Overwatchy style game. Cool, with Marvel characters, cool. But you have to continuously update. You have to continuously keep things fresh for people to care about your game. Because if you have a great idea, but you don't support it, it's just going to fall to the wayside. Like people are going to leave and go back to whatever the hell they were playing before. You have to keep the people entertained. I don't understand why a lot of publishers fail to see that, or they're like, here's our roadmap, but our first update won't be for another 8 months. People will be like, bro, we're not waiting 8 months for an update. We're going to move on to something else. Like you should have had these updates ready out the gate. Like after the first month, here's this big update that we got for you guys. Some more characters, some more maps. We're going to add these different weapons or whatever, some skins. Like, but again, it's like they want the money, but they don't want to invest in keeping the game relevant. And it's just weird.
Yeah.
Also,
I agree.
Interesting to know is that before the reboot, they had sort of like a reverse version of the Nemesis system.
Yeah.
With basically collecting allies instead of your enemies or your nemesis. But they apparently they took it out when they rebooted it and tried to make it more like a God of War type of game. What
the fuck is that reverse Nemesis system? That would put it.
He said it was where you gather. It's about your allies instead of the enemies. Like your allies get stronger, they learn. Which would have been interesting. I wonder if they would have had like the Justice League as your allies, or would have been like the women of where's she from, like Amazonia or whatever.
Yeah,
I would expect them to be Amazons. Yeah.
No, I actually like the sound of that though. Yeah, we'll never know. At least not from them. It won't be called the Nemesis system.
Never know.
Yeah, at least if somebody else does it, it won't be called that. It'll be called something else. But
so with Marvel, not Marvel, with Suicide Squad now gone. What's the other one? Multiverse gone. That's close, if not more than 300 mil. That just from, I think, development alone.
Mm.
We're not talking advertisement, we're not talking anything. It genuinely makes you question just how much did they lose and why they didn't invest some of that in, what you call it, in Wonder Woman. Like, the game had hope. Like, I understand game development, it wasn't really developmental and stuff like that, but so here's the thing, they should have gone what Gorilla did. We should basically vote, let the vote win, and not force it on the developers. That was their biggest fuck up, in my opinion.
Yeah.
If you act, if you are what you call it, if your team actively wanted to work on another Lord of the Ring game, have them work on it. You can try to change the genre or just keep it at it and find an elevation to the Nemesis system. Like instead of what you call it, enemies, make it allied. What they wanted to do with Wonder Woman, they they fucked up big time by forcing them to make a Wonder Woman game. In my opinion,
We talk about that uh, here on the show plenty of times where you get negative results anytime a publisher tries to force a
Yeah.
team to work on something they don't want to, and vice versa, right? When you get a passionate team behind a project, it's very obvious. They're really outspoken. You could see it on their face, that excitement when they're just bursting at the seams to talk about everything and anything they've been working on. Um, we kind of got that from when we were looking at the Expedition 33 team, right? When we got the little behind
yeah,
the
Mm.
scenes, like you can see them like, oh man, I'm such a fan of Chrono Trigger and all these games, and now we got together and we get to we get to make our own version of games we grew up with friends and create something incredible, based on our own heritage. You know what I mean? Like them being from France. Um, so it's got their own swag to it, and it's like you get so many new ideas and so many new innovative things that come out of that with these people. The ideas just start flowing when a team is that passionate that's behind it. um, like I said, they're obviously not the only ones. We hear it a lot of times from a lot of the PlayStation teams and a lot of the things that they've worked on. You know, we see Rob all the time. Like,
like
man, I wish I could have really showed y'all, what I'm working on. And he's always,
yeah,
working on something crazy, and talks about what it's like to work, behind a lot of those passionate projects behind PlayStation, like working, on God of War and some of the things that they take so much time to integrate, like particular scenes and stuff in The Last of Us. Again, all that passion comes out in those scenes, and it's like if you're being forced to work on something, but paint by numbers, almost like make this game, make it like this, like that doesn't leave
it,
very much room for creativity to thrive.
it's literally crazy how PlayStation found a way with not just one, but two studios to create something different. First is Guerrilla Games, that, let's face it, their Killzone project was not doing well, especially the last one. And what they do? They voted and they created Horizon. And then we have Sucker Punch with Ghost of Tsushima. It's genuinely crazy. PlayStation makes it seem so PlayStation doing it so effortless that it seems effortless. But we're looking at the consequences when you don't listen to your team, and closing one of another is one of them, sadly.
Yeah, closing multiple
You
studios,
mean
in
like,
fact.
asking them to do live service games?
Yeah.
No, not yeah.
Well, yeah, but I mean, obviously, we got the truth behind that from Yoshida. So, That was a whole.
Yeah.
That was a whole thing.
I mean, he
corrected,
said
but
it
yeah.
was optional, but the question is, was it really?
Was it really though? She said,
It's
"Was
like,
it
you
really
can't.
though?"
Was it what? Listen, because I've been on teams where things were optional. Right? Oh, so you can, like,
You can
it's
take the day
optional.
off. You don't have to show up.
Sure, but it's highly discouraged for you to not listen to what I just said. Like,
I
like
get you on that
it's
end.
optional.
It was not optional, but at least they were smart enough and didn't allocate budget from single player games to multiplayer. At least they
Yeah,
gave it their own
I
budget.
think when it came to, again, I am not saying anything definitively because I'm not on any of these teams. I don't work for PlayStation. I'm not an insider. This is just my opinion when it comes to specifically
Wait,
factions
you're
too.
not an insider? Damn, I always thought you are, but okay.
Nah, I just think when it came to faction, I think that Naughty Dog just wanted it to be similar to The Last of Us 1, where it was just like a multiplayer on the side, like it was with, like I said, The Last of Us Part 1. But I think that was the beginning of, because it was 2020 when it was releasing, and that was the beginning of the PS5 generation. And I think just Jim Ryan was just like, all right, since y'all making this multiplayer, how about, since this is our new strategy going forward, we're kind of integrating into a live service kind of plan here. All right. And I know you guys, you just kind of want to do, similar to what you did with Last of Us Part 1, but how about we make it to something bigger? How about I give you a bigger budget, okay? And we make this into like a bigger thing, a live service game. All right. And I was just like, I mean, okay. And then that's why we got the announcement in 2020, like a month before it came out. Like, hey guys, we know you're probably, we know we have a lot of fans of factions and everything like that, from the first game, and we know that you're probably looking forward with part 2, but we're gonna delay it. We're gonna delay it. You're still gonna get the game, the single player game, but we're gonna delay the multiplayer part because we wanted to make it bigger and better than ever. And then we obviously we know what happened with that. Like, it just kind of got turned into a beast that beyond their control. They could no longer tame it, and they were just like, wait, this is way bigger of a task than what we signed up for, essentially. And it's either they came to a fork in the road where it was either we go full on factions 2, right, and we'll become the faction studio, or we continue down the road that we've always done, and what we're known for in the industry is making amazing third person single player games. And so I agree with the decision they made ultimately, because as much as I want factions, I want single player games from Naughty Dog. But
I agree.
But yeah,
I feel like it feels like a rash decision. Like, it still feels like there was some way to salvage that, and they just didn't want to do it.
Personally,
I don't think so. And you're the one that
listen.
that
This is what I feel. Okay, I think that they should have finished the game, finished factions, right, and then handed it off to another studio. Give it to who are the Fire, whatever, the people who made the game that we don't talk about, the game that shall not be named.
Oh yeah.
Give it to that studio, since they were, because they don't exist anymore. They were a multiplayer studio. Hand it off to them, right, and make that their game that they upkeep, and they
the live service support team.
They are, Naughty Dog finishes it, they get the groundwork, and then they hand it off to this other studio for them to take over and do updates and everything like that. I mean, I know it's not as easy as that. You can't just like hand it off, especially.
They were making it seem like there was going to be like they tried to get like storylines and all this other stuff. I'm like, I don't want, you ain't gotta be all that. They could have
but they wanted to put their Naughty Dog flair on it, though. They want, that's the thing.
The detriment.
They can't just be any live service game. It's got to be a Naughty Dog live service game, which I can't flake them for. They wanted to stand out. I mean, that was part of the problem with Damn, I really erased that game from my brain. What the hell is the name of that game?
Sprite. He was saying Fire Sprite was the name of the studio you were looking for.
Oh, okay, earlier. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Logic.
What was the damn name of the game though? Oh my god, I really what?
Lord. Concord.
Concord. Jesus,
Yeah.
I really did erase the.
She was
the-
like-
Yeah, you
she was
did
like-
erase it from your brain.
Yeah, like I think because that was the problem with Concord, right? Because PlayStation wanted to, because I think that's part of the reason why the budget was so high,
Yeah.
and why I think what they say was like it was 200 mil before PlayStation took it on. I think PlayStation added another 100 million to it, and I think because they wanted to PlayStation-ify it, as I call it, where
Yeah,
they
like we said, they
really
they got to
up
stop doing
the
that.
graphics. Yeah, they really focus on like making it graphically appealing. Like you could look at it and be like, man, those graphics, oh, that's a PlayStation game. I think that's what they were trying to do. They were trying to put their spin on live service, right? It's make it live service, but make it a PlayStation live service game. Like you're gonna get the things you like about live service, but you're gonna get the graphics that PlayStation delivers with their games, right? And I think that's probably what they were trying to do with Factions, because you know Naughty Dog, man, they don't play when it comes to the graphics fidelity of their games, the animation, I mean, you always see other developers, whenever Naughty Dog releases a new trailer or releases a game, that like all the other developers in the industry, like they always point out things that us gamers that we just don't notice or don't see as a big deal. They'll be like, "Did you see that animation that they did with that? That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
How the hell did they do that?" Like,
You
Well,
know,
I
that
think-
with Intergalactica when she
Yeah.
was.
Scoffer jacket,
Yeah, precisely. Like to us, it's just a fucking simple removing the jacket
yeah,
or
exactly.
wearing it, but to them, it was literally
They were like,
blew
"Oh,
their
it's
mind.
like, oh, so Naughty Dog just gonna casually just, I saw developers saying that, oh, so Naughty Dog just gonna casually show off that jacket roll. Oh, okay." They were
Yeah.
just like, oh, and then when The Last of Us Part 2 was like the rope animation, like people were like, the developers were freaking out, like, did y'all see how the rope physics works in this game? This is insane. And people were just like, I mean, it's a rope. They're like, no, you don't understand. Okay. You don't understand how long that probably took somebody to program this into the game. This is like, it's a big deal. And that's just what Naughty Dog does. And I feel like they will probably have a lot of that in Factions.
Yeah.
And doing something like a live service game on that type of scale, from like on Naughty Dog scale, it would have probably took an immense amount of work. That's probably why they were saying it was going to be the whole studio was going to be needed to be dedicated to this game, because there was just going to be a lot of that in an ongoing game, right?
I would have killed to been in that room. I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
I would have loved to see. I mean, a little leak of it, something.
I mean, I'm just saying, because like look, right? So one of the things,
Maybe
like,
I don't want to see it, because maybe
Logic was
that just pissed
saying,
me off.
well, Logic was saying they had to monetize it, right? And I get that,
Yeah.
right? Like I say,
Yeah.
I get it. It got away from them, and I know what got away from them means in a studio like Naughty Dog. They went absolutely crazy. And while I love that, I get the issue, right? But like I said, if they would have grounded it in just the factions, right? Because you gotta remember, factions isn't that complicated. Like, it has a couple game modes and things of that nature. But
that's the thing, they wanted to make it even bigger. They wanted
to go crazy.
They were expanding it, like probably adding several different modes. I remember they were talking about they were adding like an actual story to it. That you could follow along with it. Like it was gonna be big. Like they were adding so much to it, and like I said, like we've all been saying, it just got away from them. Just like, oh my god, this is.
That's why I said
huge.
I would have loved to have been there from the start, because I feel like this is something that I understood, because I have me personally, right? I have a unique understanding about live service games, right? There are very few, unlike a lot of people, right? And this is why I said, remember, we've had this conversation about multiplayer centric people wanting the God of War 2018 of multiplayer games.
Yeah.
I don't want that. I don't want that like that, because I don't really like multiplayer games like that. But the few that I have liked over the years have very specific or unique things that they do really well, right? Like I said, I took to Modern Warfare 2. Everybody knows. You even played COD back then. Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 1, so on and so forth, right?
The golden days of COD.
Exactly, the golden days of COD. It had something specific to it, right? And the only other thing I really played besides that was Destiny, and the one thing I always forget is Factions. But the reason I played Factions and the one thing that constantly gets brought up with Concord is that it didn't have anything unique going for it, right? Like it was
Yeah.
just the other
Very
thing.
generic.
Very generic, right? And then, like you said, the characters were kind of uninspired. Like people were
Yeah.
just laughing at the designs. Like you can't have that.
Shout out to the secret level though, because that was actually
the secret
good.
level killed it. Yeah, the secret
secret
level was
from
really
Concord was actually good.
Yeah.
The story for that was good. I was like, they probably could have made a good third-person action adventure game out of that. But yeah, the live service was definitely inspired.
Exactly.
But go ahead.
But it's like, but if you've played Factions, right? Like Priscilla has like over 1,000 hours or something like that in Factions. Like she was like level like 907 or something by the time we stopped playing. Like, but the reason is because and it wasn't some big expanded mode. They didn't have 40 maps. They didn't have all this stuff. It was unique. There is literally nothing like the multiplayer from that game today. And that's why I said they had something on their hands that really could have thrived. And I still think they could have monetized it with skins and that nature. Like I think the way that the monetization was presented to them in a way that requires the support of Destiny, right? And that is why I feel like they ran away from it.
I mean, I think PlayStation wanted it to be that size. They wanted it to be that big.
Yeah, and that is a problem. And that is where I can understand why they would cut it, because Destiny is a clusterfuck as someone who has more hours in that shit than most people. And has played, D1 and D2 and been through the ups and downs of all the very, very stupid decisions that Bungie made over the years, mind you. So, yeah, I was witness to that front and center, right? This is why I got on Bungie so hard when I heard that they were the ones that, advised them to cut it. And I get ultimately it was Naughty Dog who was like, yeah, we can't really manage this. And like you said, it got away from them, right? But a lot of issues that Destiny had over the years were self-inflicted wounds. Like they just did it to themselves. It was like, nerfing things that didn't need to be nerfed, removing items that didn't need to be removed, removing content. Like I explained to you, right? At one point, because it was asked to me, right, from Omar. He was like, oh, can I go play Destiny with my brother and experience the whole story? No. Why? Because it's gone. Like, that's crazy.
They literally, DLC that you bought, you have no access to. Like, I have never, ever heard of something like that before experiencing myself.
Yeah.
And the UI, one of the worst. Destiny 2. They fucked up Destiny 2 so bad that I genuinely couldn't comprehend the PlayStation listened to them. This is why, like, to me, PlayStation.
See, it's like, I think the way, this is the analogy I use when it comes to like PlayStation's quote unquote dependence of Bungie. It's like you're in math class, let's say calculus, right? And you're flunking. Okay, that's PlayStation. You're talking, you're looking for a study partner, but the only one available is the CD student. So that's better than the F. So you just rely on them. It's like they're not an A student at what they do, but they pass. So you rely on them for their experts to like, okay, help me get a passing grade in this class. Okay, and that's what it is with Bungie. That's Bungie's that CD student that just passes. They've had some good. They passed some tests really well where they've gotten, a couple A's up in there, but they average out to basically a CD student. And so that's why PlayStation is just like, listen, we have no experience in this subject whatsoever. So if
they
you
turn
could
to
just,
them. Yeah,
if you could just help us out,
you to come in. They basically they were an internal version of a consultant. Basically, companies usually go outside. They go, hey, we want to move into this. And we want to do this.
Especially since Bungie was in a very vulnerable place at the time, right? They had just lost their publisher. They were working with Activision. Like they moved from several publishers over the years, and they were at a good rate essentially for PlayStation to come in, swoop in, and buy them. And just like, okay, well they've they might not be at the hottest that they've ever been, but they did make Destiny, and that was a big breakout hit. So I mean, they should have some expert advice when it comes to making a sustainable live service game. So we'll turn to them, and we'll kind of lean in on their expertise from what they've learned over the years, and hopefully we'll be able to navigate this live service map that we're on with a little bit more guidance and a little bit more know-how, now that we have a team who's essentially that's all they do, right? So I think PlayStation just leaned on them a little too much, and unfortunately they leaned on a team that
was failing.
That's seen better days. That's on kind of their last leg, essentially. And it's just like that they still believe that they're an A/B student. Don't worry, I can guide you. I got you, bro. I pass all the time. But actually, they're just barely getting through.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I'm giving them shit. Yeah, I'm giving them shit, but like if this was Destiny, Wrath of the Machines, Bungie, like they were in a great place. But like you said, when you're talking to someone who used to be in a good place, and then you're asking them for advice, well, that advice is going to be very different than the good place version of that person.
It's like, we're really going to see where Bungie falls when Marathon finally makes its appearance.
Absolutely.
That's really going to be the litmus test for Bungie. It's a brand new IP. They're putting in everything they've learned from Destiny 1 and 2 into this, and it's supposed to be their next big AAA live service game. So yeah, we're gonna see. I mean, I don't want it to fail, obviously, because it's I don't want PlayStation games to once
waste
again
all that,
waste a bunch of resources on a game that'll fail. I'm not personally gonna play it, but I don't want it to fail. Yeah. But we're gonna see. We're gonna see where it falls. I mean, if you listen to people like Jason Schreier, it's not looking too hot, but
yeah, definitely not.
But according to them, it's just shocker, right?
Yeah, as much as I don't have all the love in the world for Jason, I can't fault that man. Is typically spot on in his reporting. So
he is.
Yeah,
so it's
he
just
don't
like
have an agenda. No matter how many people want to pretend that he does.
We'll see where this game lies. I don't know. Yeah.
Also, I'm mad at Logic for that really great idea in the chat. I'm mad at you because that sounds really awesome, and that just makes me mad. He was saying how they would have to build out factions, and he was like, you could have people who were like basically in different factions, like you join the Fireflies or
or the
join
WLF.
the WLF on different teams. I was like, oh man.
Oh yeah, I'm Wolf all day, bitch. Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I feel right. Yeah, right. Like, I feel like that meme now. He's like, oh man, like because that just sounds so good.
Yeah, I'm rocking with whoever on Abby team, bro. Like, yo, I got Abby my backup, man.
Oh yeah, it would definitely be.
I'm hiding behind those forearms all day.
The Last of Us wars out there, like throwing up TLOU signs and shit. So.
Oh man, yeah, that would have been good. That would have been cool.
Yeah, especially during the season, during where the live show is live and everything, and them kind of coinciding with that and promoting it on
I think that's really what they were kind of hoping for, factions to be out by the time like the first season came out, because they already they obviously did a remake on the two games and everything, and they've gotten a big resurgence in the games, obviously because of the popularity of the HBO series. And the new season's about to come out. Shout out to that. I think it was like April.
Yeah, it's coming out real soon.
So I'm looking forward to that.
It seemed far, but how we're flying through this year, as we talked about.
Yeah. And I think they wanted to have factions out, because I think it was supposed to come out by the time the first season came out, so they could get that big player base. Like, oh man, this live service. I mean, this Last of Us show is awesome. Is there? I wish I could just get immersed more in this world. And they'll be like, at the end of the episode, they'll be like, play factions now on PlayStation and PC.
Yeah, and the show did crazy numbers originally. So
yeah, I think it broke sense. HBO's record at the time. So
But yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Crazy, crazy times in the industry. Uh, with all these cancellations and awkward decisions being made here, there, and everywhere. But like I said, yeah, hopefully, like you said, the silver lining in that whole story as far as Monolith goes is that a lot of that team has already moved on and they're going to create something great at their new studio. That's kind of the story of a lot of things that we grew up with. BioWare is in the same position. You know, a lot of people who were there are gone, but now we're getting Exodus, you know, as a result from a large part of that team making that game, and that looks phenomenal. Again, shout out to the Secret Level again for that Exodus.
Yeah, and if you haven't watched Secret Level, it's amazing. It's on Amazon Prime. You know, if you're subscribed to Amazon,
I will forewarn y'all about the Pac-Man episode though. That was mad weird. And it was
good though.
Yeah, I'm not subject to, but I'm not subject to if you're a little squeamish. Like that episode was crazy. Like
honestly, it did its job because it made me want to play the games that the series was talking about. Like,
agreed.
I actually wanted to try that because that Pac-Man episode's based on that new Pac-Man game. I don't know if it's out yet, but
yeah, I definitely wanted to go play Space Marine after we watched that Space Marine episode.
Yeah, it made me want to play Space Marine, but I'm just like, that Space Marine episode was fire.
I was like give me the Space Marine game that plays like that. Like,
yeah, that was I loved it.
How
were absolutely badass.
How you so badass? You walk down a wall that's vertical. Like what? Like what? Like I was.
Yeah. He ran down that bitch. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I'm telling y'all need to watch that. Y'all need to watch that.
Makes me want to watch. Makes me want a new season of Love, Death, and Robots. To be honest,
definitely want a new season.
I need that.
But I know they got renewed for a season 2 of Secret Level, so I know that's coming first.
Yeah, shout out to that. Yeah.
Yep. So I'm interested to see what titles they.
That PlayStation episode though was ass. That was the last one.
Yeah, that PlayStation episode was terrible.
Episode was straight ass cheeks. PlayStation. I don't know what the hell because it was just like a big. It reminded me of those PlayStation commercials that we see a lot of times through the holidays, where it'll just be like a cameo of all the PlayStation characters, like running around somebody who has a PlayStation controller while they're playing a game, and you just see Kratos, jump through their wall like the freaking Kool-Aid Man. And then you'll see like Aloy sitting on the couch eating popcorn with those type of commercials, right? It just looked like that. Just one big episode that was essentially a PlayStation commercial that wasn't even a good one. And I was just like, after all those good episodes that we saw for Secret Level, I was just like, damn, we ended on that.
Yeah.
And I know PlayStation greenlit that, and it was like, yeah, that's fire, bro. Yeah, release that episode. And it's like, how is the Concord episode based on the game that crashed and burned from PlayStation?
Better.
How is that 7 times better than the dedicated PlayStation episode? It's embarrassing. PlayStation, that was sad. Don't if you're gonna have more of your characters and IPs on the Secret Level season 2, do not do that shit again. Make it a dedicated one for a specific IP, okay? And have a show about it. Like, don't do that shit that we're gonna mesh all of our characters in an episode type shit. Don't do that. But
right.
Sorry, I'm going on a rant.
No, you're good. This next topic is definitely one I'm interested to see Weeb on, because I know me and him were both digging it when it first dropped.
Shit.
Dragon Age: The Veilguard is coming to PlayStation Plus in record time. The game that just barely released this past holiday season is getting ready to make its way to PlayStation Plus this month. Again, a big get for PlayStation Plus. I think the game was really great. Logic is also here in the chat, who also played it. I don't think he completed it. I haven't beaten it either. But Priscilla, who's also here, has beaten it twice. And 100%.
Yeah, once on PC, once on PlayStation.
Dragon Age: The Veilguard.
Insane to beat it twice, because it's a big game, right?
Yeah, she didn't just beat it; she platinumed it technically twice.
Yeah, she played it the first time on PC and completed it, and then got it on PlayStation and platinum.
Yeah, she was loving that game. So if you're on the fence, like, think about that. But yeah, obviously, like I said, we both enjoyed our time with it. I'm not done with it. I'm definitely gonna beat it as well. I don't know if I'm gonna go for the platinum, man. Priscilla was just on one when she played that, but yeah, the game looks phenomenal. I think it plays great. Um, obviously we know about the whole joke about, it feels like some of the conversations feel like HR's in the room. That's my favorite review line ever. Because that was so accurate.
Not HR's in the room, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
like
dead.
I was gonna say something crazy, but HR right there, so I'm gonna tone it down.
Tell
To
us how you feel.
yeah, work appropriate levels. But but yeah, like I said, it's an interesting thing. I mean, to see how fast it came. A game that honestly, like I said, I thought
Awesome.
arguably was really great in a lot of aspects, despite the one that everybody kept harping on. Weeb, how you feeling about this one? Are you upset that we day one it, or you're like, I don't even care? You're like, I had a ball, and it's more people are gonna get to play it.
I don't even care. Like the only times that I regret buying a game, or regret at least where I will be upset, is if I bought the game and didn't play it yet.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, I get that.
It's like,
I'm
bro, I
like,
haven't even played it. What the fuck? I could
I'm
have
like
just waited.
motherfucker, like But me with Dragon Age, like I knew I want to play that like day one. So no, I don't regret. Like I I of course, I'm surprised to see this game coming so soon, and it is probably a testament, at least, to how big of a failure it is, at least in the eyes of EA, that they're making this move. But you know, uh, yeah, I mean, I'm not upset about it because I've already finished the game, so or I already got the plat, so I don't really
Nice.
mind, that other people, can now enjoy it, free, or at least without having to pay full
Purchase
price,
it
or at least
separately.
Yeah,
buy
now
the game.
Omar's gonna play it.
I
Yep,
know,
yep,
right?
yep.
He
I mean,
still
I
got to
don't
What's
know.
finish
this,
the
Maybe,
other
bro?
one, but yeah.
maybe he gets a bit of a second win or something. I mean, it's yeah, it is what it is. Like I wish the game would have done better, and of course, the same with Warner Brothers. Like EA
Mm-hmm.
really can take the message. Like uh yeah, the problem is it wasn't this live service game. No, motherfucker. The problem is you tried to make it a live service game, and that's why you had to reboot this game twice. Because Anthem failed, and that's, oh, you were scrambling.
Yep.
Initially, this game was supposed to be massive, like it was supposed to be like an Inquisition, and then they sort of then they pivoted to a service game, and then they pivoted back to a single player game, and they had to severely reduce the scope. That's probably sort of its biggest problem. I mean, not necessarily the HR in the room. I mean, that's fine, but that just the fact that it felt like even within the game, there were some story points that were just not further addressed. There were some, um, uh, for example, like Scott Harding had at a certain point, if you romance her, um, you can't actually kiss her because of her power she gains in the game, that somehow prevents that, and then later on you can just do whatever you want with her, and they never explain why. So
They
those
just
are kind
break
of
the
things that,
Like, do
immersion.
you like die if you kiss
yeah,
her or something?
well, not die, but there's
Oh,
yeah,
spoiler. So never mind.
yeah, I know, but it's just there's some sort of mystery there, and
Gotcha.
it's not explained, and there's plenty with the characters where you're like, okay, like there was so much more potential there, so much more you could explore, and sort of at some certain point it basically just falls flat. Like there's no progress anymore with any of these characters. Um, and yeah, the story feels quite truncated. Like the I think the biggest problem is that the Inquisition Trespass DLC was set up to make Solus the big bad, and they said like, oh yeah, he's gathering an army of elves, and yeah, you're basically the game basically begins with the end of the Chase of Solace, and then for the basically entirety of the game, you're fighting two different villains, and it's such a letdown for what they set up, and of course that they haven't included any of the world states that the previous games had. Like you could basically any decision you've made in the previous games you could load into Inquisition. So there were like dozens of permutations for your world state. So depending on choices, certain characters lived, died. You could decide who rules a nation, that kind of thing.
Okay, so basically whatever you decided was canon. That's cool.
Yeah, and that's taken away from you with Veilguard, because there's like only like a handful of minor decisions you can make, which pretty much involved the Inquisitor, who did the romance. You can sort of with some minimum customizations can sort of make the Inquisitor look sort of like the one you created in Inquisition, but that's about it. And there actually things that were choices within previous games, and now they're just made for you. They're made explicitly. Okay, yeah. We don't care that you had a choice. Like even if you didn't make a choice, now we chose for you that this is the canon choice. And yeah, sure, sometimes like plenty of games have like bad endings, and like you can make that canon because otherwise you wouldn't have another game. But here it's like this is what Dragon Age was all about. Like just like Mass Effect, but even more so. Decisions had consequences. Had consequences for for the other games, and that's kind of and it's very obvious that they didn't include that because of the limits that were placed upon, that they had to pivot again, that they probably were rushed to finish the game and get something out well before they really were planning to do so. And like it's a polished game, like don't get me wrong, like it like just like Ine said, I enjoyed it thoroughly. It has great characters, great writing, aside from the aforementioned moments. It looks great, plays great, but yeah, it's just like I think many Dragon Age fans will probably agree with this. Like if it didn't bear the Dragon Age name, this would have been a great game. But because it bears the Dragon Age name, we expect more from it.
Absolutely.
So this is basically their Final Fantasy 15.
No.
Okay.
He said it would have been great regardless.
No. The thing with Final Fantasy, the issue there is that they like that they. It's not necessarily portraying expectations in essence, but more like they try to streamline it too much, and basically made a game that was alienated the Dutch Final Fantasy fans because they just want to have a turn-based game, and it doesn't really appeal to any of the sort of new audience that they want to capture because it was too generic. It was over engineered, oversimplified. Ironically, in that sense, like they tool it so much that in the end they had a very bland vanilla game that despite looking great and all the best efforts they put into that with the performances but it just sort of felt like a sort of hollow shell of itself. But the difference is there, like 16 got the money in the budget, and they made the game they wanted to make, right? Even if we didn't like it. But Dragon Age didn't get that chance because that game was just torn by management decisions. Then they want to make the game they want to make. Then they had to do live service game and then pivot back again. And then this motherfucker has the gall to the problem is we didn't make the service game. Like nobody is waiting for a Dragon Age service game.
They really are not.
I wonder what the excuse would have been if they did do that service game and it obviously would have failed. Like, what would have been the excuse as to why?
they would have said like, yeah, we need to make more service games.
Oh God.
That's the only thing they know how to say. Like, yeah,
Hmm.
it's kind of ironic. Like the higher you are in a big corporation like that, the dumber you are in terms of
Hmm.
knowing actually what you're selling. Like they see like their biggest cash cow is FIFA. They see, okay, yeah, we're making like tons of money there. Everything needs to be like that, and they completely forget the fact the only reason that game is selling so much is because it's FIFA. Like
Yeah.
if you didn't have that license, yeah, and they sort of
Yeah.
don't have the
It's like
license to
y'all
use the
really,
name, but
yeah, it's like y'all are the only ones that really have the ability to make this big soccer game, which is why it sells so much. It's like that's what people have. They have other ones, but you're the only ones that get the big budget to do it. So it's just like obviously it that FIFA or whatever the hell they call it now is gonna sell very well, like you said.
mm,
Hmm.
yeah,
But
it
I don't know.
it's so yeah. I mean, they're so tone deaf. They're so out of touch. They have no idea what they're like. It's a miracle, that they even hold their jobs. But I guess they make their shareholders happy, but basically selling booty boxes to children and closing studios and firing people whenever a game doesn't meet their expectations,
Mhm.
and then try to they'd say, yeah, we should have made a live service. Check, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, like that this is sort of reminds us again why EA is evil corp. It's
Right.
yeah. I mean, and it's such a shame. Like I just was thinking about like when because we I think you also read that article, the interview with one of the co-founders, I think with Eurogamer, about certain mistakes that they made, and sort of like one of them was like, yeah, we should never listen to Microsoft when they said like,
Oh,
release Jade Empire on the Xbox, and they're like, we should have just released on the 360, and it might have had like a terrific franchise. And yeah,
yeah.
I agree. There was a lot of potential there. um but yeah, I mean, this is sort of like I was thinking like, oh man, imagine if it wouldn't have happened, but imagine if they were bought, by Sony. Yeah, Sony had nurtured that, and they would have they would be able to make the games that they want to make, and give them the polish that that they wanted to, like that would be so amazing. Like we probably wouldn't have had that bullshit with Mass Effect 3 ending, the red, green, and
The
and,
red
and
green.
blue
Yeah.
choices. Yeah, yeah, and yeah, wouldn't have had the problem with the Veilguard. We it wouldn't have it would have been a proper sequel to Inquisition. And that's such a shame. Like it's such an amazing studio, and you can, like I said, you can still see it. I mean, even at their worst, they're still head and shoulders above
Oh,
most other
absolutely.
studios in the industry.
Absolutely.
But but yeah, it's sad that they're part of this massive corporation that just cares about the numbers, and is completely out of touch. And yeah, we'll probably won't see another Dragon Age game for a while, and hopefully they're not going to say, yeah, let's make a mobile game like we're doing with the Command and Conquer games. Like,
Let's make a gotcha game, guys.
yeah. Oh, fuck, don't give so many ideas.
Oh
That was
man.
probably what we're gonna do. Yeah,
Don't worry.
but
That's what Dragon Age is. That's why I failed.
yeah, that's what NetEase is working
Oh
on right
man.
now. They're chasing
Oh
me. Hell
man.
yeah. They're like, you know what we need? We need waifus in a box. Like, get it done.
This industry, man, I just don't get it. Like when it comes to things like live service, it's just it has so many failures, right? So many failure stories, like and not just small failure stories, but massive ones. Like we've seen it with Suicide Squad, we've seen it with PlayStation, one of their biggest failures ever, Concord, and it's just like the industry wide sees this, right? And sees live service games getting canceled left and right. I swear we get another announcement of a cancellation like every other week of a live service game, right? Oh, this game is
Yeah,
getting
like
canceled. Oh, that
literally
game.
last week, what you call it, Hood
Yeah.
cancel.
I mean, and it's just like 9 times out of 10, I could look at a game and be like, that's not gonna last, a year. Like I could just look at it and be like, yeah. I mean, I see you guys probably thought this was gonna be cool, but I can tell you right now, it's gonna get canceled before this year's over. I could pretty much look at a game and tell when it comes to those live service games, and it's just, it's a very risky business venture to get into, right? It's almost like the lottery. Like, you can waste a lot of money, but that one ticket might be you might be one ticket away from that dream of winning, $500 million or whatever, right? And it's just like they're just willing to risk it all just to
Risk
get
it
that
all.
one lottery ticket of a live service game. And then, but but what they're risking is studios and people's jobs, right? Because they're not
Mhm.
going to take the blame for it. The suits aren't
Absolutely
going to
not.
take the blame. They're gonna give the blame to the studios, right? The people who probably didn't even want to make the freaking game in the first place. They're like, yeah, it failed because y'all didn't do good enough. Like, well, no, we actually didn't really want to make this game, but you kind of told us we had to. But
Oh yeah.
and it's just sad because I'm just like, again, there's so much money to be made with single player games, but they just want that easy monetization that can come with live service games, that consistent consistent revenue stream that comes in from people buying skins and packs and bundles and all kinds of shit like that. And it's just
The problem is a lot of times with those, right? Is I don't know what it is with the suits. They always want to design these traps uh in the game to entice you to purchase more, right? But people don't realize one of the biggest benefits and reasons something like Fortnite thrives is I don't have to buy anything.
yeah.
It's all there, and it's just fun extra stuff. It doesn't change anything. You can literally log in with the day one skin, the
The
little
default skin.
the default skin, little army dude, and clap everybody. Like
Yep.
there is
You
no
don't need to buy
difference.
anything to be any better in
What
the game.
what the crazy part is, not only that, you don't have need for microtransaction. They are still putting effort into these games, into their game. Like Fortnite get updated what? How many times?
I mean, it's a
They have
lot.
so many version of it.
But that's what I'm
It's
saying. Like
like
people keep forgetting the core of how it started has never really changed, right? Once they discovered like the core of the PvP and how that worked, that system has never changed. It's always there. They've only added to it and not taken things away, right? There's still the OG Fortnite that you guys know where people build like crazy and it looks like they're spazzing out on the screen.
Yeah,
And
the shit that I can't even see and comprehend. And I'm just like,
yeah,
how are they doing that?
I don't like it looks like the screen's having a heart attack.
Yeah,
But
I'm good on that.
for people like me who just like straight up shooting, they came out with the zero build mode. Then people like Priscilla who used to really love, harmonics and stuff back in the day, they came out with the mode that's basically like Guitar Hero. And then also we played Legos, right? Yeah, we played the Lego mode,
Yeah, it was
which is
fun.
which
and
is
then
still
there is
expanding.
also the kart rating one.
Yeah,
Like
the racing mode is still expanding. You can still drive all the cars. So like even the stuff they add is multi-purpose, right? I can drive the car in the game like while I'm playing PvP, and I could drive the car on the track when I play the racing mode, and like so on and so forth. Like there's so many levels to the design of how and the reason why Fortnite works the way it works. But regardless, the core of it, right, never changes. You never need any of that stuff. Yes, I love that I have the Iron Man suit and I look really dope, but it doesn't stop me from getting clapped by default skin number 4576. Like, like that. I just look good while it happened, and that's my choice.
mhm.
And
Also
that's the
another
thing. You don't have you just don't have these things where they try to trap you into forcing those purchases, right? This is an area where EA especially makes big mistakes, right? Like I told you guys, Mass Effect 3 had a multiplayer mode, and one of the things they tried to do, like I told y'all, that killed the mode was force you um to have to feel like you need to purchase loot boxes in order to get stronger, but it was never a guarantee. So you could spend $100 or $200-300 and still not get the thing you needed to upgrade your weapon. Like, and it's like, and they love that, right? Because like I told you, the story was one guy, and I'm sure there's more than one guy, but these people with excess money out there, right? The one guy, he said, one of the developers said, at one point he's seen transactions where a user had spent $15,000 in the multiplayer for that game.
Wailing. Sadly.
Yeah, just absolute whale, right? Like none of us are spending that, right? My man spent like a used golf GTI on sale. You know what I'm saying? In a multiplayer game that no one plays anymore. Like, that's crazy. And they love that, right? Because it worked for him, right? But it's like, but you could have got way more money than that if it was just fun to begin with, and there were fun things for people to purchase that didn't alter the game. Like, this is the thing that NetEase and a bunch of these other people keep failing on, right? Until recently, with Marvel Rivals for NetEase. But like Logic said in the chat, how long is that gonna last until they screw it up, right? Because NetEase is very famous for that.
I feel like that's gonna be the flavor of the month type of thing.
Exactly. Like, how long is the hype really gonna last?
I think that's gonna be either gonna drop off with Monster Hunter now being here.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot. Like I said, a lot of reasons why a lot of this stuff falls off. But I mean, like you said, ultimately it comes back to a lot of management decisions. People in the upper echelon of these companies making these choices and decisions rather than letting the game designers design. Design first and foremost, and then to get a longevity product like Fortnite that lasts, right? Something that's not ruining itself, and then you get all these crossovers and things like you mentioned. They just got Cowboy Bebop, they had Attack on Titan, so on and so forth. And it's like, you can keep this up and you can keep getting these great deals and get this longevity in a multiplayer title that they're chasing, but without, like I said, for anytime you feel your player base feels like it's forced to do something because it's affecting the way the game is played. Like, I gotta purchase that $20 new thing that came out because it comes with this new gun that's OP. Like, you never want to do that. But yeah, hopefully, like I said, they make better decisions going forward with the new IPs and stuff that we have going on. Obviously Mass Effect is up next. We can only hope.
We can only hope, man.
Yeah, don't mess this up.
I love how the writer literally bailed. She's like, "Peter, I'm out."
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The director. Yeah, she ran away from that whole project the moment that was done, which was another thing. A lot of her personal stuff in that, but the dangers of that as well. Letting your personal stuff cloud how you design the game and stuff like that, rather than designing it for that specific world, right? Like I said, when things don't fit, we've all played a game where it's like, someone will use a word and it's like that word doesn't fit. Like, imagine like you're playing Kingdom Come Deliverance and somebody's like, my bad, and you're like, wait a minute, what? Like that wouldn't make any sense.
What is the car? Like, excuse you?
Yeah, like words that don't fit in that world.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, so companies could definitely get out of control and make crazy decisions like that. But yeah, next up, we're probably one of our last ones here, because the other one is just kind of like a congratulations to Monster Hunter. But Fable delayed till 2026, to no one's surprise, in here at least. Yeah, obviously we've seen that coming. A lot of people were like, oh, 2025, it's coming. Fable, Xbox is going to release 10,000 games this year, and Fable's going to be one of them. But again, like I said, not a big deal for me, as far as, I'm looking forward to it, and I wish it was coming this year. But the amount, like we said, the amount of games that we have coming is just absolutely insane. Just looking at March, like we just did at the beginning, that alone is already crazy, right? just looking at March, and it's like we still have the rest of the year ahead of us. So I mean, obviously, it's not going to affect that much in the way of releases in games that everybody has to play. There's a ton out here to play, even from Xbox themselves. Their release cadence is picking up tremendously. So that game being delayed isn't going to really hurt. Hopefully, it's for the right reasons and the quality is up there. There's a lot of really, really dope people working on that project, including the writer from The Witcher 3, the quest designer, one of the writers and quest designers from The Witcher 3. And they're supposed to be doing a ton of really good work on that. If you didn't see it, there were some snippets in the kind of Xbox ID thing where they kind of did some updates on developer watch and see what they were up to. So while they were talking, I believe, to Aaron Greenberg, you can kind of see some new snippets of the gameplay and things that they're working on, and it looks really good. I'm not disappointed in anything I've seen from that so far. So to me, giving them more time is obviously just going to result in a better game. Hopefully, we get a really good Fable when that does come out. Um, Weeb, I don't know. I don't know if you played the other Fables. I can't remember. But yeah, I don't. I think you're probably in the same thing. If you're there at the moment, Weeb, how are you feeling about the delay for this one? Does it affect you? Do you not really care? I know. Again, you're the man with the Series X in the squad. So
Yeah, not the hugest fan of the Fable games. I only played them briefly. But yeah, I mean, I was excited for this game because it did look interesting. Has Richard Ayoade, the funniest man alive, in it, so that's already a plus.
mm,
But yeah, like you said, like nobody was surprised about it being delayed. With what we heard and the fact that they didn't confirm anything yet in terms of an actual release date. And yeah, I'm not particularly upset about because I mean, like you said, there's so much coming this year, like even the coming months already, where you already have to make choices of what you want to play first. Um,
absolutely.
so yeah, I mean, I'm fine. Let them take their time. Hopefully, the delays don't mean it's in trouble. Hopefully, they'll make they're making something that will match the hype that the game is getting. And yeah, I mean, if it's a great game, and I can play it on, well, I guess would say on the Xbox, but these days I would probably suspect that this is also coming to PlayStation, if not day and date, at least soon after it comes to Xbox. So I mean, and that's sort of the thing. Like, if it's really, really good, yeah, then I'll probably just buy it on PlayStation.
Hmm.
And if not, I'll just enjoy it on Game Pass. That's sort of how I treat my Xbox right now. Like, yeah, it, essentially Game Pass is sort of a demo machine for me, where I can just try out games. If I really, really like him and they're on PlayStation, I'll buy him. Like I did
Yeah,
that with
same.
Eden Chronicle. If I Yeah, I mean, if I think okay, they're okay, but then I might be inclined to finish them, like with Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2 Black or Black 2, I don't know. The order,
That naming scheme is all over
yeah,
the place.
yeah, exactly. Let's make it as complicated as possible. Um, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I enjoyed it, but like I was not compelled, to say, yeah, I need to get this for PlayStation. So yeah, so again with Fable, I'm not surprised. I'm not necessarily upset about it. I hope it's gonna be as good as it looks.
Agreed. I'm with
And
you on that.
yeah, I mean, let it come next year. Hopefully, it's gonna. I mean, it's kind of sort of uh, you know, on one hand, you don't really want to say like it's going to be a calmer year in terms of games release because you want to keep playing great games. But like, I won't be complaining if like 2026 is like, oh yeah, this is sort of the year we're gonna catch our breath and gonna prepare for the next wave of year after year of great games. But I I somehow doubt that there's not going to be a lot of great games coming next year. I mean, I think we're going to see some terrific games hitting next year as well as this year. So the only thing I hope is that it's not going to be its delay is not going to be um, an issue in terms of that it's going to come out at a time where there's too much coming out that it's just going to be, even though it has a big name, it might just not make it in terms of sale. Sales is probably not never an issue with Xbox considering they put everything in Game Pass, but it could be forgotten or overlooked because there's so much else coming out, which is the
No, I
biggest
agree.
risk with any game right now. You really have to be lucky that the thing is, like, I see, if you obviously a lot of games are probably going to avoid the expected window of GTA 6, but I mean there's no way really you can predict, because obviously they're not gonna reveal their release dates, schedules, release dates to their competitors. So they're gonna. I mean, there's still some big games we know coming this year that don't have an exact release date. So there's always the risk that when you put your game out, that it might just hit that month or that release window, whereas other big hits are coming out, and then I mean it's part of the game basically. Um, but yeah, I mean, yeah, don't think there's much else to say. Yeah, let them take their time, and hopefully it's going to be a great game, and hopefully it's going to come out, at a not too busy time, and will be able to take my time and enjoy it, and not be distracted by other games. Though the way RGG is going, I would not be surprised if they announce another game for next year, which I would be very happy. But also means that there's going to be another game that's going to be have my first attention of any game coming out in that month or time window. So yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. Like I said, I don't think there's gonna be any shortage. The whole ducking and dodging who releases and where is pretty tough. I mean, we're already looking at March, right? There's games literally falling on top of other games. And it's like
Hmm.
we're barely starting this year. Like it's not even cranking yet, and it's already insane. So I think that's just gonna get tougher the longer stuff goes on. You've got a lot of projects in the works that are gonna just be releasing from now until the end of the generation. I mean, we know how it cranks up even more, right? When you get later in the
Yep.
generation, and a lot of these guys get faster. The tools are already there. They're just pushing along even faster to get a lot of these games to launch. Things that have been in development for a long time are starting to show and come to fruition. So yeah, hopefully, like you said, they can find that window to give them at least enough of a grace period to let the game shine like you really wanted to. Um, and we can all really get to play the game like we really want to and give it the time that it needs. Um, when it does come out next year, because like you said, I don't think next year is going to be a relief, right? I mean, 2025 is packed, but I think 2026 is going to be just as crazy. Because whatever doesn't release this year, like there's already a ton of games that we know are
Yep.
definitely going to come next year. Um, potentially Intergalactic if it doesn't hit this year. Stuff like that is already going to be a massive game.
I mean,
So
Wolverine probably.
yeah, Wolverine as well. So yeah, like you said, like PlayStation's already just looking at what PlayStation has in the chamber is
Yeah.
already crazy. Um, and between that, the China Hero project, it just never stops. So yeah, like Warwana was saying, he's trying to be more picky, and it's like, I'm trying, man.
Hmm.
It just keeps coming. Like I haven't
Or
even, yeah, like I haven't even touched Kingdom Come, right? Like Priscilla wanted to try part one. I was trying part one, and then four other games came out, and then literally, like Morgan said, she's only really been able to play Kingdom Come, and like she's trying to finish that and trying to go for the plat, and then it's like, Split Fiction is literally ran up on us. And like she said, it really feels like we just saw the reveal of Split Fiction. Like I remember that like
Yeah.
it was yesterday, and it's
Yep,
like 5
and
days away now.
they did reveal it late.
Yeah, I
This is
mean,
why,
which is awesome. I mean, you get it really fast, but
yeah,
it's
like
like
we're
the
getting it
speed
like
is
literally
insane.
next week.
Yep. So
I'm pretty
yeah,
sure we all gonna play Split Fiction.
yeah,
Like
pretty
we're
much.
gonna give our
Yeah, pretty
opinion
much
next
all of us
week.
are gonna have a chance to play it. So, um, but yeah, Morgan, how are you feeling about the Fable delay? Is it affecting you at all? You're just like,
I mean, no, not really. I mean, that's just one good. I'm happy. One less game I got to worry about this year.
right?
Um,
That sounds like
you
such a
know,
weird thing to say from us, but yeah, like, oh well,
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah,
hey.
like of course, I would love to play it, and I would play it if it came out this year. But I'm always for a delay if a game needs time, if it needs polish, if it needs whatever. Cool. We all know it got delayed so they can get that PS5 port. So they can make the best version of the game, make it run best on PS5 Pro. That's what they're really doing. No, but seriously though, I am a Fable fan. I played Fable 1 and 2, didn't play 3 though. Didn't really care about 3. Um, but I've been looking forward to Fable was one of the games, before Xbox did this whole Xbox anywhere, everywhere, we're gonna put our games everywhere thing. Fable was one of the games, along with Hellblade 2, that I was like, okay, when these games come out, that's when I'm gonna get an Xbox, right?
You
But
did
then
say
Xbox
that.
was just like, yeah. But then Xbox was just like, well, we're gonna put our games everywhere, and we're gonna put better versions of our games on other platforms. And I was just like, oh, okay, so I'm just gonna get this other device, this Nvidia Shield, and then play the PC version of your games for and for cheaper. I don't even have to buy a console. I can get this device for like a third of the price of the console and play your games better. So I'll just do that. you
Yeah.
know, like
Right? Like that's
yeah.
literally what you get for going day and date on PC.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, like I said, I was determined to get a Series X. Like, but again, they would have got me if they had released games day one instead of just showing a plethora of games that were not, coming out until 2023, 24, and all that shit, right? They're coming late with the gun is what lost them out on a sale with me. Because
Yeah.
they would have got a sale day one at me if they released Hellblade day one. If that would have been a launch title for Xbox, I would have bought an Xbox. I would have bought a Series X for that.
Yeah, you did say you
But
did mention.
but they waited, and then when it finally came out, they were like, "Well, our games are everywhere, so you don't got to buy one." So I was just like, "Oh, okay, that's perfectly fine for me."
Yeah, they
But
said, that
yeah,
PS5 Pro, we got you.
yeah, it's just like whatever. But I am excited for Fable. It does look really good. The trailers that we've seen, they showed a new gameplay snippet of it. Like we got to see a little, you know, Xbox loves showing those little 5-second reels of new footage. You gotta kind of like
Don't
pause
blink.
around and kind
Don't
of
blink.
like, yeah, don't blink or you'll miss it type footage. They showed that during the interview with one of the, I don't even know who he was. One of the people on Team Xbox was doing the interview.
I think it was Aaron Greenberg.
No, it wasn't Aaron Greenberg.
Wasn't that?
No, I know who Aaron Greenberg is. That wasn't Aaron Greenberg.
I thought it was him.
No.
How
It
dare
was
you,
somebody.
sir?
Yeah, that was not Aaron Greenberg. I was gonna say something real mean about Aaron Greenberg, but I'm gonna be quiet. Yeah, but the new gameplay it looked cool. Like the gameplay itself, I can see why it's being delayed because if that's like the latest build for the gameplay, it still needs a lot of work. It's still a little wonky. When she was fighting the werewolf or the lichen or whatever that's supposed to be, it wasn't the gameplay was a little like it looked a little on the rails. Like it just didn't look as tight as it should be. It just it just didn't look too polished. So, but the actual game itself is beautiful. Like let's not assume that I'm trying to discredit Fable because I think the atmosphere, the graphics, the environment, the fidelity, like the game looks amazing. Like you can tell, like the Forza team, they've always been really good with graphics when it comes to the Horizon series. So you can tell that they've taken some of that expertise and put it into the Fable IP. It looks fantastic. It's just the gameplay was just a little needed a little work, and I'm sure they're going to tighten it up by the time it comes out in 2026. So I'm not even worried about it. But if that's how the gameplay looks now, I can see why they would want to delay it. It still needs some work, but overall, I'm excited about Fable. I think it's going to do well for Xbox. I think it's going to be, if it holds up to what I think it could be, if it gives us that old Fable vibe that they were really good at capturing especially in Fable 2, I think that, it could definitely be, Xbox can finally get themselves a Game of the Year contender, and maybe they could walk away with the W in 2026, unless, of course, Naughty Dog releases Interstellar, then, I'm sorry. Come again, try next year. It's not gonna happen. But they could get up there though in the nomination. The name will be up there, but they won't own the W if Naughty Dog's up there. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Looks good. I'm excited, and I don't mind waiting.
Agreed. Omar, how you feeling about this one?
Till today, they have yet to show us the core concept of what makes Fable Fable, which is basically the duality between good and evil. Is this system still in Fable or no?
I mean, they did at least allude to it in the original trailer where he talks about like who the person is. When he was sitting in the chair and he was talking about the protagonist. So they alluded to it, but no, we haven't gotten like the gameplay breakdown that fits. Hey, this is how you can be good. This is how you can be evil. So
yeah, I'm sure they'll do a one for their February direct in 2026. I'm sure we'll get a Fable, breakdown where they'll tell us about it.
I hope so, because we are, like, to me, this was, I think, pre-alpha, the gameplay that we were shown, and it looked good, but I'm like, it's pre-alpha, so you already know it's far better than what it is right now. As for the delay itself, I mean, let's give it a buck. This year is stacked. Yeah, I know Xbox wanted to get that W, but I'm like, you literally have Doom now. And you have all the other IPs that you're releasing this year alone. So you're gonna be fine with Fable. You're gonna absolutely be fine. It's not needed. If it needed to be cooked, let it cook.
yeah, I brought the footage. I brought the footage up on the screen so people can see it as well.
Yeah, I'm watching it right now. We actually finally just got a little bit of an. It's edited to a degree, but we finally got a glimpse of what the combat is going to be. And
well, there's parrying, so you should be excited.
Yeah, I'm excited nonetheless. It's just a matter of I want to see. So I never played Fable game, but I do know how Fable can become so crazy where you can stop time, you can speed time, you can become evil, you can become good.
Wait, you haven't played Fable?
No, I never had access to Fable. I never had.
Well, you got a lot of critiques for somebody who ain't played it. Talking about, oh man, is it going to be the Fable that we know? Now, how would you know? You haven't played it.
I'm literally I'm literally asking all of that because I want to experience that.
Heck, oh, you can. Why don't you just play it? Isn't it on PC?
I'm not sure really.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. It is on
PC or not.
You could experience it today.
I might go real talk. I wish they would release an upgraded version of Fable 1, 2, and 3.
Oh my god.
I love the whole duality between good and evil. Like that.
Okay. That's why, I mean, okay. I was just wondering because you were talking about, are we going to have what made Fable great? But it's just like, You ain't play it, so okay. But all right, go ahead. I'll be quiet. Go ahead.
I should have removed the word great and replaced it with unique, because Fable identity is you being able to choose
Hmm.
who you want to be.
That's his identity. Oh, okay. All right, Omar. Go ahead.
I hate you.
This man's expert on Fable identity without having to play Fable.
I'm
That's
not
crazy.
an ex. I'm not. Where have I ever said I'm an expert in Fable?
No, it's just the way you described Fable. I assumed you see saying you wanted to capture the Fable essence. I assumed you were saying that because you've played it and you played the other games and you wanted that same Fable essence
Okay,
to
I
be
understand now.
into Fable.
No,
And then you see you didn't play it, so I was like, wait.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
no,
see, I see
everything
what
that
you
I
mean
said.
now. By the way, in the
Yeah.
footage that where she's fighting the big
The
rooster
werewolf thing.
or what? Well, the
Yeah.
rooster or whatever. Like she's backing up, and like
Thank
it
you,
looks
Tim.
really stiff. Like I
Yeah,
see what
you
you
see
mean.
how it's stiff?
Yeah, the animation definitely looks like it's not. It's off.
Yeah.
It looks good though,
And
like you said.
yeah, it looks
Like
great.
visually.
I think they'll fix it by
Yeah,
that's something
no,
they can tweak. They'll fix that by the time it comes out.
Yeah.
yeah, like to be fair, this is literally not only is it pre-alpha, we now know that when they show us, that's always an older build altogether. Like I will always go back to Ghost of Tsushima gameplay reveal when they showcase a part in the area on the ship. In the trailer, it looked pixelated. Yet when it was finally in the end of the game, it was fixed. So I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't put too much, focus
Yeah,
on.
but that's PlayStation, and they generally the games will eventually look
Obviously,
better.
I get
Except for
you.
Ghost of Tsushima, by the way, because that game was downgraded.
Yeah,
I will tell you.
from the trailer,
From the
from
re-
the E3. Mm-hmm.
yeah. That's the only game that I noticed. I mean, it still looks fine, but like it didn't look as good as a reveal trailer. But
Yeah.
every other Sony game always looks better than when it was revealed.
Like Killzone,
Xbox,
famous.
yeah, I mean that's a whole different story. But E- E- Xbox generally you have to be very skeptical because they tend to
Nah.
obviously
Sorry.
they often use a PC version instead of the console version, but they have a tendency to downgrade their games because
No, that State of
they
Decay
can.
3 is gonna look just like that trailer, sir. I have
Yep.
faith.
Oh yeah.
Freaking State of Decay
Oh yeah.
3, man.
You
It's
you
gonna
you
look
you, you,
just like that.
you still have faith. Okay. Waiting for that Crackdown remaster.
Yo,
Yeah.
chill. That's another game I need to know where the hell State of Decay 3. They haven't talked about State of Decay since it's like
Yeah,
reveal.
no, State of Decay. I
Like,
would
where
not be
the hell
surprised.
is that game, bro?
Yeah,
That's
I
one of
would
the
not
games
be
I've been waiting
surprised. I would not be surprised if that maybe is either cancelled or
on. Nah, I don't
rebooted,
think that.
Nah, I
or
don't think they're gonna
rebooted
cancel that.
multiple times at
Yeah.
least. Like that game might be in development hell because we haven't heard anything about this game since the reveal.
I mean, I'll give it that. If we don't hear anything this summer about State of Decay 3, then yeah, it's gonna be really weird.
But yeah, going back to Fable, I am actually excited from what I've seen. It's just I wanna see again the old mechanic for Fable, unless they're gonna get away from all of them and just make it funny and have the
Yeah, I
humor.
don't think so because that's not gonna work.
Then,
Because Fable
and,
fans are gonna crush
and
that if they do that.
that's why I mentioned everything that I mentioned, because you would expect them to showcase all of that stuff. But hey, maybe we're gonna see that later down the road.
Yeah, I think you'll see it later. I mean, intricate systems like that, like Morgan was saying, are usually something that gets shown off higher polish and later down the road. I mean that footage, like I said, that I was showing was even still labeled pre-alpha. So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah,
we'll see.
we're gonna get a deep dive in probably like I said in February. For their developer direct, it'll be one of the games they talk about. One of the
Yeah.
three that so it'll be fine.
Same. I agree. But yeah, same thing for me. It's not a big effect. Like I said, there's just a lot to play, so we'll see how it goes. So far, 2024 or 2025 is looking crazy. So yeah, it's not a big loss. And like Priscilla said in the chat, I expected it to be 2026. Like I was just like I said, I spent plenty of time just laughing every time people swore that it was 2025 on a bunch of other podcasts.
Yeah.
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 I mean, people are still on the notion that Gears E Day is this year. I mean, listen, I don't know. I'm not a developer, but I don't know. That seems more like a 2026 game to me. But we'll see. I mean, I'll take it if it is coming out this year.
Yeah.
Either I don't think coming this year. Maybe next year or the year after. We don't know how far they are in development.
Thrifty said they're gonna fix it by release in 2027. God,
Oh,
they
man.
better not be that
I
late.
would say I would say this when it comes to Fable delay. I mean, with you need to look now at Xbox as literally as a multi-publisher. They're not just publishing for the studio alone, for the for the company alone. They're now as multi what do you call it?
Multi-platform.
Yeah, multi-platform publisher. So
I mean
they
that
own
shouldn't be nothing new to them at this point. I mean they've been developing for PC day
no,
one, so
they are multiple like they own multiple IPs right. So instead of Fable, you guys are gonna get Doom. So I don't think Fable was needed this year.
well that's what we were saying. Like there's a lot of stuff already coming, and
Yeah,
their actual releases are starting to hit. So as far as Xbox's own lineup, they already have a ton of games coming. So yeah, I mean that's no surprise there. Um, but yeah, besides that, again, it's not really a topic, but yeah, like I said, and we did kind of talk about it in the beginning when I talked about my experience with Monster Hunter. But congrats to Monster Hunter and Capcom on a really great launch. Despite the hiccups and other things, seems like a lot of people are enjoying it. Like you said, they're out here breaking records, over 1 million concurrent players. And like you said, shout out to everybody who's playing Monster Hunter. I know there's quite a few people in here, in the chat and stuff that are playing Monster Hunter. Um, so yeah, I'm sure I'm gonna be able to do some monster hunting later myself as well. But yeah, with that, we're gonna go ahead and get up out of here. Uh, we finally made a podcast under 3 hours, guys. We did it. Congrats.
Hey.
Oh,
we
man.
had one last week, I think. It was under 3.
Just barely.
I mean, hey, under 3 is under 3. I'm getting you one.
Omar,
Yeah,
Omar, try to pull that.
watch Omar drag this along until we hit the 3 hour mark.
He about to be like, so I got a
I
question.
was literally leaving, but okay, go ahead.
Oh man, Omar said it doesn't matter, bro. We made it. Doesn't matter if you did it by an inch or a mile. We were under 3. Family, but
Under 3 is under 3.
Omar wouldn't get that reference because he don't watch movies. But
Oh, man.
but man, let the people know where they can find you.
Yeah. Congratulations for keeping the 3 hours. Yeah, you can find me on Twitter as the Weep Share with Infinite Rhizome, and also with the same at Blue Sky. And yeah, Otter Nation.
Otter
Otter
Nation.
Nation.
Morgan, if you want to be found, let the people know where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter sometimes at Chip in it, but I'll mostly hopefully this
lately
week
you can find me
focusing.
sleep.
Yeah, shut up. Yeah. But I'll be mostly this week on PlayStation, hopefully finishing up KCD, getting the plat, and then of course Split Fiction this week. So I'll definitely be on that. Hopefully he said it's coming out Wednesday, right? So
Wednesday,
yeah, I'm gonna have to
coming
dedicate
out
that
real
to
fast.
Wednesday. Yeah. If you guys are planning on play it, let us know and definitely give us your opinions next week in the chat. But thank everybody for coming through. Great show, guys, and see you next week. Otter Nation.
Otter
Otter
Nation.
Nation.
Omar, let the people know where they can find you, sir.
So, shout out to everyone that came through. Hit that like button, share the stream out. Enjoy Monster Hunter. And you can find me at Kahraba_job on Twitter. And Vitamin G podcast every Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. See you next week, and yeah, split fiction, eh?
Yep. Yeah, and you can find me on Twitter or Blue Sky at the Real Innate. Uh, trying to finish up some of these games for all the rest of these games that are coming. Uh, it is a good problem to have as a gamer. Shout out to everybody that came through. We had a ton of awesome people in the chat. Really great participation. Really good discussions. We got into some really good ones off that first topic. We had a lot of fun with that. So again, see, the chat makes it awesome. So yeah, shout out to everybody that made it. But yeah, if you're listening to this later, enjoy it, and everybody enjoy gaming. Otter Nation.
Otter Nation.